Hey man, I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I'm loving that funk behind that beat. You know what? How y'all doing tonight? It is so good to see the people that are in here right now, the people who are on their way. All right, we got Corey in the building tonight. What it is, Corey? We got CBN in the back and we'll be up front as well. We got Edward Gilbert in the building tonight. I know a lot of people see 9 o'clock on my show. That was just a human error. It is 8:30, so people got to catch up, and I understand. All right, it's my fault. We got 8 people watching right now. We need 8 likes. Go ahead and hit that like button. Go ahead and hit that like button for your boy. If you want to join the channel and come over here and enjoy all of the work that we put in over here, we're gonna have a good time tonight. All right, I'm gonna drop the link for some guys tonight. Bring them in, have a brief conversation with them, and get them up out of here because this conversation is for all men. So we'll have our normal cast of people, but we'll definitely drop in a few people that are not normally here and get their take on the videos that I'm going to show you guys on tonight. All right, hit that like button, subscribe button, share this with someone. I know that we really don't share, but sharing is caring. Sharing is putting out the content that we work so hard to bring to you guys on an everyday basis. If you want to give to the channel, you can definitely do that from 1 cent up to $1 million. If you have that, you want to give that'd be great. So if you want to give, you can also look at the bottom of the screen to see Black Men Unfiltered scrolling at the bottom of the screen. If you want to send a cash app, which would be great. If you want to send, let's see here, super chat, you can definitely do that as well. If you want to join the channel and be a member of the channel, please do that as well. That'll help with the channel as well. All right, so guys, you see the title tonight. Your wife is not pleased with the sex you give. Or like the old Baptist preachers would say back in the day, let me say that again. Your wife is not pleased with the sex you give. Now, you already know that we're going to give you guys the, how can I say this? We're going to give you guys the appetizer before we give you the meal. So we'll go through some other videos first before we get to the main course. All right, so your wife ain't happy with the sex you give. A lot of men are thinking that they're beating it up. They think that they're giving that thing up. They're beating it up. And women are out here talking to their friends and saying, "No, that ain't what it is." They even got men thinking for them now or supporting the fact that men are not giving women their sexual desires and needs. So what I want to do, I'm going to go ahead and play this first video. All right, like David, I need some of that illegal stuff down there. But we're going to play the first video, and I want you guys to get what you guys think. And I'm going to also go ahead and drop the link for you guys as well while the video is playing. Okay, so let me go ahead and pull the first video up here. All right, where's it at? All right, here we go.
Because I can tell it's a difference with what you're describing between sex and intimacy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
big difference.
What does intimacy look like in the marriage?
Vulnerability.
Yeah, come on.
Not just transparency, but vulnerability. I'm giving you access to me in a way you would never have unless I volunteered it. See, like, honesty is if you ask me a question and I give you a truthful answer. That's honesty, right? Transparency is, man, it looks like you do this and I confirm it for you, right? Vulnerability is you was never going to know unless I told you. And intimacy is when I feel safe enough with my partner to tell her everything that I am thinking and or feeling without her having to ask for it. That is vulnerability. Vulnerability is when I confess to her that I'm tempted to watch porn and masturbate. That's vulnerability. She was never going to know that. Vulnerability is when I saw another big ass and then told her I saw a big ass. She was never going to know that.
Right.
And a lot of times, what the expectation that we have in marriage is usually informed by movies that have script writers.
Not real life.
And that's why it looks so pristine. And we fell in love with that image because we paid for $14 for this ticket. And now we went home and said, how come you don't respond like this? Because they don't have a screenwriter.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you saw the video. I see you guys in the chat. So what do you guys think? Let me go ahead and drop this link real quick and get you guys up here so we could have a discussion about this video and even probably play it again. Black Avery, your background sound like you at
I know, it's a movie.
Yeah, it sounds like you at Wimbledon Stadium over there. But let me go ahead and drop this link real quick. We can get everybody in here. My bad, guys. Let's see. All right. I want to see what you guys think about what this man just said about intimacy. Intimacy, as the preachers would do. Intimacy tonight. All right, here we go. Let me drop this real quick. All right, the link is in the chat. So you guys can come on up, make sure you cam up real good, make sure I know who you are, make sure I see your face before you come into place. So we can have this conversation tonight. All right. Now we got some more people came in here. We have Sheep Stay Sleep TV in the building tonight. That's the first I've seen you in the building. So thank you so much for being here, man. I appreciate it. Hit that like button and subscribe, man. I would also subscribe to you if you want to put your your link in the chat. We'll definitely support your channel as well, my brother. So thank you so much for being here tonight. And for the first time, I've never seen you before. We got,
where you get that video from? That thing sounds suspect.
Man, we got Eugene in the building. Eugene Steele undressing each other in front of each other.
What?
Oh, your back. Oh, your background, Black David. It says undressing each other in front of each other will be the ultimate act of intimacy, whether you are in bed or in the shower. Eugene Steele, thank you for that comment. Sheep Stay Sleep TV. Yeah, you can put your link in there, man. We'll definitely support your channel as well. We're about the rising tide raises all ships over here in this camp. So thank you so much for being here tonight. Dr. Steele is on the panel tonight. Thank you for being here. We have Corey Haga in the building tonight as well. You guys saw the video. Would you like to hear it again? Or you guys got a pretty good synopsis on what you want to say?
I'm good.
All right. Are y'all good? Dr. Steele, you can go first.
Yeah, at first when I thought of intimacy, I was thinking about, actually doing something. But after the guy explained what intimacy really is, I look at it as if you have something that is sacred inside you, you're not afraid to share it with somebody.
Right.
Your sacredness.
Right.
When people say your body is your temple, and you're protecting your temple.
Right.
When you're being intimate with somebody, it's like you're opening the doors in your temple, and you trust somebody not to damage it or mess it up or what have you. So I think that's one way to look at intimacy. And like I said in the chat, revealing each other's bodies, and we're talking butt naked bodies here to each other, is to me the ultimate act of intimacy. That's it. You muted.
Hey, the mute got me. All right, man. Again, thank you so much, Dr. Steele, for that comment. Mr. Bennett, thank you for being here tonight, my brother.
Good to be on.
Absolutely, my brother. So I want to play the video for Mr. Bennett, and so he can get
Actually, I did go back before I signed on because I was a little late getting in.
Okay.
I did see most of it. So I think I got a pretty good idea of his perspective when he was talking about intimacy being vulnerability.
Yeah. And I will also want to play it for the people that just came in. So
Okay.
right after this, guys, we'll get Mr. Bennett in here. Here we go.
As I can tell it's a difference with what you're describing between sex and intimacy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Big difference.
What does intimacy look like in the marriage?
Vulnerability.
Yeah, come on.
Not just transparency, but vulnerability. I'm giving you access to me in a way you would never have unless I volunteered it. See, like, honesty is if you ask me a question and I give you a truthful answer. That's honesty, right? Transparency is, man, it looks like you do this and I confirm it for you, right? Vulnerability is you was never gonna know unless I told you. And intimacy is when I feel safe enough with my partner to tell her everything that I am thinking and or feeling without her having to ask for it. That is vulnerability. Vulnerability is when I confess to her that I'm tempted to watch porn and masturbate. That's vulnerability. She was never going to know that. Vulnerability is when I saw another big ass and then told her, I saw a big ass. She was never going to know that.
Right.
And a lot of times what the expectation that we have in marriage is usually informed by movies that have script writers.
Not real life.
And that's why it looks so pristine. And we fell in love with that image because we paid for $14 for this ticket. And now we went home and said, how come you don't respond like this? Because they don't have a screenwriter.
No, you muted again.
Mr. Bennett, what's your thoughts?
All right. Well, first of all, good to see everyone tonight. Dr. Steele, I think this might be the first time I've been on a show with you. I see a lot of, watch you a lot on Security Boss. I know you're a frequent guest there, but again, it's a pleasure to be on the panel with you tonight. So good to be here. I agree with a lot of what he said. The only caveat I would put on it, I don't find much of a difference between vulnerability, honesty, and transparency. I think a lot of that, as far as the vulnerability, it has much to do with how you feel about whatever it is that you're revealing. If that's a sensitive subject for you, if that is something that you are uncomfortable with sharing with someone, then it becomes a vulnerability. But if you don't care, if it's just a natural public, look, this is just who I am, then it's just transparency then. So I think the whole idea of being vulnerable is those things that you're very sensitive about. Your willingness to then share that with your spouse or your intimate partner or whatnot. I think that's where it gets vulnerable, but that depends on how you take it. If you've dealt with whatever that issue is, or if you come to a sense of comfort or acceptance of this is who I am, then to me, that's not it no longer is a vulnerability. So I think that that would be the only the twist on what he said. But I certainly agree that, when it comes to intimacy, there is I like to use the term, I think there's a nakedness that you have, not just physical nakedness, but mental nakedness, spiritual nakedness, where you are making yourself, putting yourself in a position that may at first especially feel uncomfortable. But then again, as you grow in your relationship, then it becomes very comfortable. It's like putting a glove on. When you get to that level of nakedness where you can be at total comfort with someone to that degree, where there's no barriers, there's nothing that needs to be said, or there's nothing like, I don't know if I should share this with him or her, like this is what I like to do or whatever. That, you know, doesn't mean that you're going to do everything or that the person's going to be into everything, but there's such a comfort with it where you can share that, and that person's not going to just like laugh at you or something like that, or treat treat that part of yourself carelessly. They're going to protect it. I think Dr. Steele was talking about, you know, when you go to a temple, well, again, to be able to go and visit a temple and not take the artifacts out of it. You know what I mean? Not to rob it and sell it to someone else, or give away the secrets that are in the temple. But it's a safe place. It's a safe house. And I think that to me, that makes the difference between intimacy and just having sex, or just, you know, just doing the physical act. But it's the whole person.
And Corey Hager, man, and thank you so much, Mr. Bennett, for that. Corey Hager, what are your thoughts?
Well, shout out to the panel in the chat.
Yes, sir.
You know, the intimacy thing, if you don't have a person's trust, you're never going to be intimate with them. You can't. Trust is the foundation to being intimate. Intimacy is just having knowledge. They trust you enough to share that information with you. They're not going to just share that with anybody. You got to become the person that protects their weaknesses. Now you have intimate knowledge of what can hurt them. That's intimacy. You're not out there just, you know, carelessly walking around while the person you're standing next to or that you're married to is being hurt. You're going to defend them. There's two different kinds of ways to have sex. One way is just physical. I mean, people call that being intimate. I call it being cheap. But, you know, I mean, guilty as charged. Been there, done that. I typed in the chat, I said into messy, because people are messy. We all have problems. People are messy. We just are. If you're alive and breathing, you got problems. You've created problems in other people's lives. You've done it. Being vulnerable and telling somebody what you have done, that's an intimate side to them that nobody else has ever heard, because they don't trust you, or they don't trust other people enough to tell them that, but they tell you that. It's on a whole nother, it goes back to the Bible, where you make a covenant with somebody and you're in a covenant with them. It's not just this spiritual, you know, I mean, it is if you're a Christian, but, you know, for just the regular layman's terms, a covenant is just, you know, you're in it for life. I mean, unless somebody dies or whatever, there's ways out of it. But, you know, the intimacy thing, so many people today, they don't trust the person standing next to them. They're never going to get that level of knowledge. They're not going to get it. It's kind of rare. I mean, if you hurt somebody unknowingly, they're going to pull back their intimacy. That goes back to that trust issue. You can do that to your own kids. If you do something and it hurts them, they will pull back that knowledge. They won't confide in you anymore when something's hurting them. They'll go look some other place, which is brutal, because now you're out of control. Your house is out of control because you're no longer advising that situation. I could go on and on and on, but intimacy comes back to trust. I mean, without trust, you have to be an honorable man to gain that trust. And a man that's honorable gives honor to himself. It's not going to come from an outside source. You are that source by the way you treat people around you. That's how you gain people's intimate knowledge, their weaknesses, their strengths, all that stuff. But, you know, the title really, Black Man, got me. But your wife is not pleased with the sex you get. that one right there cracks me up. I got to just give you that one. Man,
we're going to get to that video at the end, but man, it's coming. But But I just think that from my personal standpoint, what he's saying is about vulnerability. How many men can really trust, even if they feel like they have a good woman? This is for all you guys on the panel. How can a man really trust that man? Can you go home, like the stuff that he named? Mr. Bennett and Mr. Dr. Steele and Corey. Is it possible to go home and say, "Baby, today I got a little tempted. I seen a big old ass today," or "Baby, I'm tempted to watch porn and I want to masturbate." How easy is it for a man to do something like that in the world that we're living in today? Do you think you could? Do you men think that you could ever be that vulnerable with a woman?
You're not supposed to.
Sure. I mean, like I said, as I started out with, I think it depends in terms of how you have wrapped yourself around whatever that is. Right. If you accept that as a part of who you are, you could just say, "Look, this is where it is." But then at the same time, you come back and say, "But look, yes, I might have looked at it, or I might have observed, but I'm still here with you." I mean, you know. So in other words, you're not afraid to admit that, look, I'm still a man, I still have eyes, and I still have whatever. And it's interesting, you get to a point where sometimes your wife will call stuff out. Like you out together, and they'll say, "Yo, look at that girl with that big old booty over there." now I try to play it off like, "What booty?" Yeah. And she'd be like, "Boy, don't only play with me. You saw that booty over there." So again, you just get to that point where it's just comfortable. I mean, the lady, she's got her boobies just hanging out and stuff. And she just walks by us at the, at dinner or whatever, at the party or whatever. And I'll be like, I used to turn to my wife and say, like, "Hey, how about those Yankees?" I mean, we just have fun with it because it's there. Yep. I saw it. She saw it. Yep. We all saw it. But at the end of the day, I'm going home with you. So again, I think maybe early on, there might've been some of that, if she might've caught me looking a bit too much or whatever. But once she got to a point where she knows, look, I'm here for the long haul. I'm not going anywhere. So yeah, I'm not looking, I'm not doing the 5-second ogle, but she knows I have eyes. And we just got to that comfort level where it's like, look, you may recognize a dude out there. I don't get offended. You coming home with me. So that idea of like, just like, God, like, what you looking at? Don't be looking at my woman. I'm like, look all you want to. That strokes my ego. It's like if my wife is getting all the looks in the club or in the wherever we're at, I'm like, look, I'm going home with a dime. So I'm feeling pretty good. So I think, as you're in a relationship and as you proving yourself over and over that, you're dependable, you're reliable, you're trustworthy. Again, trust is built over time. Right. Some of that early stuff when you might have been dating or whatnot, where you just thought that, all eyes had to be on her or this or that or whatever. Again, a lot of times she'll say, my wife, a few times, she'll just throw it back on me. And she'll be like, look at that woman over there. That booty don't even look real. Does that look real to you? And it's just like, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. So I think that, speaking to the other part about intimacy, where you can get that, be that comfortable with one another. But understand at the end of the day, what's bonding you together, then yeah, sure. I think you can certainly get to that. But I think a lot of people, just out of their fears of how something's perceived or how they're going to be perceived, they don't allow themselves to go there. And some people who you might be, as say the woman, you might be self-conscious. If you're self-conscious about your body or your relationship or whatever, then anything your man does, real or imagined, it's always going to be an issue. So I think it's about getting to that level of comfort to say, hey, you know what? I know, on paper, there might be some 9s and 10s out there that are just off the chain on her side or my side. Yeah, there's better looking guys than me or whatever. But overall, I ain't going nowhere. And once you get to that level of, hey, it's us, then yeah, that stuff can come. But I'm not trading this. Especially we got 3 kids in our ages now. We're both in our 50s. I'm like, okay, you can be looking 20 something and looking like that. Okay, put 3 kids into you, and pop out 3 babies, and put 30 years on you. Let me know how you look at the end. You know, you got a lot to compete with. So that's, I think, yes, I think you certainly can get to that level. And I think certainly my wife and I think that's where we are right now.
All right, Mr. Steele.
You know, I think I somewhat think along the lines that Mr. Bennett was thinking. Okay, first, I mean, if I'm with a woman, right? Okay, I concentrate solely on that woman. But yeah, there could be temptations out there that'll try to tip you. But when you pay attention to your woman, you're not going to worry about it. Now, if a lot of men do look at my woman, I really don't have a problem with it. Because like Mr. Bennett says, all they can do is look. Well, because I'm going to be the only one who can touch her. I'm the only one who can do that. And besides, do you think that if men will look at my woman, right? Do you think that sort of grows her ego sexually? And it could show up on me since I'm the only one who can touch her?
Come on.
Yeah. So yeah, you know, if you're really, you know, basically in love with each other, I mean, we concentrate on each other. We don't have to worry about what's around us,
Right.
because we know we got each other. We know that we have the trump card.
All right, Mr. Higa, what are your thoughts, man, on it? Can you be that vulnerable? Have you ever been that vulnerable? And is it possible, Corey, in your world, for a man to be that vulnerable with his wife?
Well, I have to push back a little bit. The main reason is in our society, women are bombarded with perfection. They have to be perfect. They have to look perfect. Everything about them has to be perfect. It really beats on their self-esteem. And besides, if you got a lust problem, that's your business as a husband. I'm just going to say it, because I mean, if you're still walking around and first of all, I'm a Christian. Jesus said, if you thought it in your heart, you did it.
Oh.
So I gotta say it, but no, I mean, and this goes back to, this can really affect your intimacy with your wife, because if you're always making comments about other women who look better than her, she could possibly start to feel like she's not enough for you. And if you don't protect her insecurities, you're going to lose her intimacy. I mean, it's your job to bring the honor to the relationship.
Okay.
It's your job. You're the head. Without that leadership, what do you got?
All right. Sean, let me see your face before I bring you up. Oh, so we got Easy Money Jones in the building tonight.
What's going on, black man?
What's going on, man?
What's going on?
Now, Easy Money, you were in the chat and you revealed something in the chat using your vulnerability tonight, saying that you were addicted to corn at one time, and part of your way of getting through that and your recovery of being addicted to that is that you have to tell your wife when you are. So if you want to, if you want to share that, you can. You don't have to if you don't want to, if it's too personal.
No, I mean, I already threw it in the chat, so I mean, you know, I don't mind talking about it.
Okay, go ahead.
So, you know, I've been woefully addicted to corn for a long, long time. And I finally decided to kick the habit, get clean in 2020, because it was leading to issues within my marriage and, you know, issues with trust, issues with intimacy. And so went to therapy, and part of part of what we came to, part of the agreement we came to in therapy was that when I was feeling tempted, I would let her know. Because during another time where I tried to kick it, I'd be tempted and wouldn't say anything and just go act on it. And so her thing was just let me know when you're tempted. And one thing that actually helped me with was recognizing triggers, recognizing when I was tempted, recognizing, to the point of the panel here, having the ability to trust my partner enough with that information, because that, letting your partner know, hey, I'm thinking about, doing something with some corn, that could be, that could potentially hurt them, and that could potentially damage, her self-esteem. And so, 3 years now, haven't gone back, feeling okay. I mean, some days are better than others, but to that point of the vulnerability and the ability to have that intimacy. My wife and I have been together since we were 20 years old, and I'm turning 39 this year. So, we've been together for a long time, and this is something that has, kind of the corn itself, is something that kind of hindered our ability to get close at times. And so I knew that if I was ever going to have a truly transcendent relationship with my wife that was really based on trust and honesty and communication, that was something that had to go. So that's kind of where I was going with that, to just because I heard some of the panelists be like, well, I don't know if I could do that. Man, look, it's hard to be that vulnerable and that honest with yourself, let alone another person. And so the first thing I kind of had to do was really just kind of get comfortable within myself to recognize when I was tempted and when I felt those things, so that I wouldn't just kind of go back and instantly relapse. So that's kind of what I was talking about in the chat there, and just having that type of relationship with my lady where we do have that level of intimacy and that level of trust.
Now, for men out there that are watching tonight, because we always want to help as many as we can, and I know this is Barbershop, so the men are here, but any man out there that may be watching right now from the shadows, from the clouds, who is dealing with this, what would be your advice on first steps, or when is it at the point where it's too much and it's a problem? What to look for when oh man, wait a minute, this is becoming a problem.
So it's difficult because I've had this issue for a long time. Okay. Going back to when I was 9, 10 years old, when I was first exposed to it.
Wow.
And, couple that with not fully understanding sex in its proper context, couple that with not really understanding the role of sex and intimacy and within the confines of a marriage. And then couple that with, the hypermasculinity that exists within our society. And I had a very unhealthy view of sex and pornography. That's kind of interesting to say. And for a long time, it actually hindered me from dating in a meaningful way, because in my mind, like I had to perform like the people in those movies, right? Like it was a performance and not something that was meant to be enjoyed, and an opportunity to be intimate with a person that I care for, who also cares for me.
Right.
And so getting back to your original question of, when do you know it's too much? I kind of gave a little bit of the backstory just to kind of set up that it started, like where it started, it was very, it was like softcore, then eventually it went to hardcore, then eventually it went to, different fetishes and all kind of stuff like that. And so the first time I actually recognized I had an issue was when I had a hard drive that had like 50 gigs of it. And this was at a time before HD, before you had like the 4 gig files. Like these were like, anyway, so I had a ton of it, and I was made aware, like, hey, this is a lot. Are you sure you're okay? And over time, it just continued to get worse and continued to spiral. And then when I was lying about it and when I was trying to hide it, and, that's really where you have an issue, to where you feel like you can't be open with it, right? Like to where you share it with people and people are like, "Hey, are you okay? Like, do we need to call somebody?" So I think once other people see that there's an issue, I think that that's a potential trigger. I also think that when you find yourself in a position where it's difficult to be intimate with other people and to be fully vulnerable and trust other people in that intimate way, or if you find yourself acting out particular scenes or methods that you're seeing in those things, you might have a problem.
Man, all right, man. Thank you. Listen, I want to say to you, thank you for your vulnerability, man. Coming up here and actually speaking on the fact that you are addicted to corn and how you're getting through it, man. So many other men are, and that won't say anything because sometimes they feel a little shame. But thank you, man, for coming up here and being able to do that. And thank you for being here tonight and be a part of this conversation. I'm glad you're here. I appreciate it. So we got Mandrell in the building tonight. We got Sean Bolden in the building tonight. All right, Mandrell, as soon as he get the lotion in his legs, he'll cam up. But it's good to have you in the house tonight, Sean. Sean, what are your thoughts? Did you get a chance to see the video, Sean?
I didn't see the video, but I've been listening to what everybody has been speaking on.
Okay, now before you go, because we got Mandrell here, like I said, he's shaving his legs right now, so when he gets done, he'll get on.
I'm on. What are you talking about?
I mean, camming up. Don't cry. Just listen. All right. So here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Play the video one more time.
I can tell it's a difference.
And we'll go
what
from
you're
there.
Describing between sex and intimacy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Big difference.
What does intimacy look like in the marriage?
Vulnerability.
Yeah, come on.
Not just transparency, but vulnerability. I'm giving you access to me in a way you would never have unless I volunteered it. See, like, honesty is if you ask me a question and I give you a truthful answer. That's honesty, right? Transparency is, man, it looks like you do this and I confirm it for you, right? Vulnerability is you was never gonna know unless I told you. And intimacy is when I feel safe enough with my partner to tell her everything that I am thinking and or feeling without her having to ask for it. That is vulnerability. Vulnerability is when I confess to her that I'm tempted to watch porn and masturbate. That's vulnerability. She was never going to know that. Vulnerability is when I saw another big ass and then told her I saw a big ass. She was never going to know that.
Right.
And a lot of times what the expectation that we have in marriage is usually informed by movies that have script writers.
Not real life.
And that's why it looks so pristine. And we fell in love with that image because we paid for $14 for this ticket. And now we went home and said, how come you don't respond like this? Because they don't have a screenwriter.
All right. So we'll get Sean in here. Sean and then Mandrell after that. Sean Bolden, what do you think about the video, sir?
I think that what he said, I can understand it, but I think it's openness and transparency that he was describing, which forges vulnerability. Vulnerability, being honest and open, you have the likelihood of being, you have the ability to where it's going to be vulnerable and vulnerable to where somebody can use it against you, or somebody can actually embrace it and use it to your benefit. And I believe that I practice honesty, openness, and transparency. But the reason why I say it leads to vulnerability, because to his point, it sometimes forged a wedge in the relationship that I had because they weren't ready for the openness or the transparency. And in doing so, it leaves a vulnerable space and place to where now you have to deal with their insecurities, or you have to deal with the fact that they might not trust you as much as you thought they did. And you know, that can bring up a whole nother vulnerable moment in your relationship. And I have experienced that portion of it. And so I still practice and embrace openness and honesty and transparency. And and I just lend to you guys that, yeah, that the vulnerability not only safeguards, you know, doesn't leave room for my own emotions being safeguarded, but it also opens up the doorway to where if somebody's emotions and or emotional maturity wasn't there, you now are exposing that.
All right. I appreciate that perspective, man. I definitely want to get Mandrell in here. Mandrell, what are your thoughts on the video?
Well, I didn't hear much of it, but I'll comment as best I can. The thing about intimacy is that intimacy is not the root. Intimacy is a result of something. It's a branch off of another tree. The root of it all is connection. Once you connect with someone, then you begin to trust. Then you begin to become vulnerable. Then you become intimate, physically intimate with that person. But it all starts with the connection, because the emotions is the root of it all. Without emotions, you don't connect, you don't trust, you don't like. In a lot of cases, the connection is the root of it all. It is what you should be seeking out and solving for. So if things break down, what caused the loss of connection? Where is the breach? So if a person stops trusting you and you're looking for the breach of trust, what part of your connection is broken? You know what I'm saying? That's what you should search for. And a lot of times people don't think deep enough about it. What he's saying on here is valid, but it's still surface level because it's not deep enough. So that's my take on the video.
And when you say it's not deep enough, well, I know you didn't hear the whole video, right? But when you say it's not deep enough, the man basically he dug deep, because I think surface is when we think vulnerability is just saying what hurt us. I don't think men are vulnerable in the way that he's saying.
No, vulnerability, when we describe it, is people describing how something made them feel. That's what we think vulnerability is.
Mm-hmm.
Intimacy is like I said, intimacy is the connection. You know what I'm saying? Like that's why you can just hug someone, and that could be the most intimate thing the two of you ever do. Above the sex, above kissing, you could hold hands. That could be the most intimate thing that the two of you can do.
Right.
It just depends on the couple and how they connect.
Right.
But the connection is the key.
Right. And so for my Facebook family, thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you guys chatting it up over there. I really appreciate it. And for them, and thank y'all. My cousin is here tonight. I'm gonna play it again for them. Here's the video, Mandrell, so you can get more of a more of a thought process on it.
What does intimacy look like in the marriage?
Vulnerability.
Yeah, come on.
Not just transparency, but vulnerability. I'm giving you access to me in a way you would never have unless I volunteered it. See, like, honesty is if you ask me a question and I give you a truthful answer. That's honesty, right? Transparency is, man, it looks like you do this and I confirm it for you, right? Vulnerability is you was never gonna know unless I told you. And intimacy is when I feel safe enough with my partner to tell her everything that I am thinking and or feeling without her having to ask for it. That is vulnerability. Vulnerability is when I confess to her that I'm tempted to watch porn. and masturbate. That's vulnerability. She was never going to know that. Vulnerability is when I saw another big ass and then told her, I saw a big ass. She was never going to know that.
Right.
And a lot of times, what the expectation that we have in marriage is usually informed by movies that have script writers.
Not real life.
And that's why it looks so pristine. And we fell in love with that image because we paid for $14 for this ticket. And now we went home and said, how come you don't respond like this? Because they don't have a screenwriter.
Yeah, what he's saying is valid. It goes to a person's perception. You know, they're watching movies and movies and stuff like that, and because of what they're perceiving in those films, yes, they like to have a relationship and a partner who responds and behaves like they see people do on the screen. However, their partner does not, and then they start wondering why not. The problem is 9 times out of 10, they start wondering these things and asking these questions all by themselves. They're not including their partner into this. So their partner doesn't know that that's what they want. So again, that person, if that's what they're doing, they need to examine themselves and ask, okay, why am I not connecting with my partner? Because again, the connection is the key. And that person, you, since you're asking those questions, you might be the person breaking that connection. But that takes self-evaluation. That takes introspection. It takes self-work. You know, and let's face it, how many people do you know who are actively doing these things, keeping themselves in check, self-improvement? Very few. Very few. But then they go back to ask, why are we having these issues? Why am I having these issues with the people I meet and date, things like that, with relationships? You have to start with yourself. And, you know, stop watching television movies. The guy's right. I don't have a script writer. I don't have a screenwriter. So I'm not going to move like that. You know, that's why it's important to get to know a person, because both of you are going to have to make adjustments. Both of you are going to have to change habits. Some habits you're going to have to flat out and get rid of. Both of you are going to have to do that in order to make yourselves perfect for one another. You know, and there it is, man. It's all about the connection. Make sure you're unmuted before you speak, brother.
No, you good. Absolutely. Sir Hell Speaks is in the building tonight. JT is in the building tonight from What We Know podcast. You guys got an opportunity to see the video. I would like to hear what my brother Sir Hell Speaks, and then we'll get JT come right in after that. Sir Hell, what are your thoughts on the video?
You're muted, Sir Hell.
You muted, brother.
You haven't used your equipment that long? Really? You forgot how to?
That's just for production. Put that in the back chat so I don't mess up my brother's stream. My bad, bro. Salute Black Men Unfiltered. What up, brothers? What's up, y'all? SBU, good to see you in the chat. Lady Navor, Eugene Steele, my wife is in the building. Everybody, good to see you guys tonight. I think it was a really good thing because I think there's some misconceptions about honesty and vulnerability, and those words are connected, but they are different, and it's rough to do. So I want to put that out there. Like while Tim Roth, great, but this is one of the he's a dope pastor. Like
yeah, he is a pastor. Yeah,
he's dope. It's easier said than done, because to be vulnerable takes, to me, years to get to that point. Like you can be honest initially. Like every relationship should be built on honesty. But vulnerability comes through, like we done been through the fire, and I know that if I give you this level of detail, that you're not going to either take it personally or belittle me for having this. And so I think it needs to be said that honesty has to be the bridge to vulnerability. But you don't just start being vulnerable. That takes time. It takes time for you to have the confidence to do that. And it takes time for your wife to know that you being vulnerable doesn't make you weak. So I think it's a really good point. And I think all men should aspire to be with a woman that you can be that way too. And if you cannot be, you're going to eventually cheat. And you're going to cheat because if you deal with enough pressure it's going to be a woman who comes into your life who takes that pressure off of you, and you're going to find yourself in a hotel room that you shouldn't be in, because you could be honest with your wife, but you could be vulnerable with another woman. So marry a woman that allows you to have the full range of the human experience and doesn't make you feel less than because you do. So I agree with what he said. I just gave you guys the black version of the answer.
We got JT in the building tonight. Thank you, sir. Your speech for that. JT, what are your thoughts on the video, man?
My thoughts is I didn't get the gist of it, so I'm not gonna just sit here and give y'all a bunch of word salad. So I'm gonna just bounce off the brothers, man, and pay attention to the show thus far.
All right, so I'll play the second video here, and get you guys' thoughts on the second one here. Give me just a second. Let's see. I think this is it right here. All right, here we go.
I can tell it's a difference with what you're describing between sex and intimacy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
big difference.
What does intimacy look like in the marriage?
That's still the first one.
Yeah, that's the first one. Hold on a second. Hold on. Let me
what you
pull up the
described.
second one. Hold on a second. All right, I think it was this one. Where is it at? All right, here it is. I got it.
But I was a hoe. So coming into the marriage, I trained my body for a certain type of sex with a certain type of cadence in a certain type of way. My wife had not been awakened sexually until we were married. Of course we were incompatible. So
how are y'all now, though?
We on the same page.
Come on.
When I tell you same page, we're on the same page. So the question is valid, but the origin is very, very important, where it's asked from. How do we know we're sexually compatible if we don't have any sex? Well, you shouldn't be having sex in the first place. That's number one. I know in this culture, y'all gonna be like, that's impossible, nigga, try again. I said what I said. You shouldn't be having I said what I said and I meant it. You shouldn't be having sex in the first place. But if you have, please take that into consideration when you say you're incompatible. If you got 100 bodies and the other person has 2, hell yeah, you're incompatible. You've put your body through an American Ninja Warrior obstacle course and the other person has been playing hopscotch. Of course you're incompatible.
And I only want women that's playing hopscotch.
Right, me too.
But have y'all been on the obstacle course though?
Yeah, we back-to-back champs.
So hush. So y'all done went all the way to the top and rung the bell, but you want somebody that's been playing patty cake in the playground.
Yep.
Yeah. That's stupid.
No,
That's a stupid thought.
But see, because I disagree. Because how the hell are 2 marathon runners gonna somehow bond?
I gave you that cheat code earlier in the pod. I told you, you've given your body to 100 people, but you haven't given them your heart. Because there's no way you intimately gave emotionally the same thing you gave physically and then ran to a new person.
Can a woman do that? I don't think she can do that.
What do you mean?
I don't think a woman, you're right. I can sling this wood with relentless effort.
This nigga seems like Kratos.
but
is this God of War?
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. I can do that and my heart be completely sold separately.
Women can do that too.
I don't believe it.
Tim, I don't believe
Child,
that.
please.
I don't believe it.
Who you been messing with?
I don't believe it.
Bro, it's some savages.
I guess you only on the playground.
But I don't think they can unsavage.
Right.
That's the thing. No, they can savage. But J.A., you unsavaged. You unsavaged.
So
but you don't think a woman can unsavage?
Nope.
Oh yeah, well, you're
nope.
You're
okay,
wrong.
then I need you to
change?
Google ex-porn stars that are married.
I'm not gonna be the guinea.
Ooh. All right, guys.
That was good.
You say, yeah. He said, go Google porn stars that are married and got kids and families. Who want to jump in? I'll let JT go first since he didn't get in on the last video. JT, what are your thoughts?
Man, that was a lot. That was a whole lot. I think that he was correct when he said that women can unprogram themselves when it comes down to getting back to the sex with the marriage. I just don't think that it's an easy thing to do. And I don't think it's easy for a man or a woman to be able to sleep with a large amount of people, and then once they get married, that it's going to be, roses. I think it's going to be more of a struggle, especially as the older we get. So, people talk about pair bonding and things like that. I think it affects men, probably not as much as it would a woman, but it does affect us. If we're giving our bodies to a lot of people and we are just sleeping for recreation, I think it does a damage to us also. So I kind of agree with what he was saying, what the other guy was saying anyway.
All right. Anybody else?
It's a lot, man. It's a lot to unpack. They said a lot of stuff, man. And it's just not one. It's not one side at all.
Yeah. Anybody else want to jump in? You can go jump in,
Yeah.
Mr. Bean. Go ahead.
Man, definitely there was a lot to unpack there. The funny thing is, I go back to the hypocrisy of us men and how we just want to do everything and feel empowered by it, and then want to complain when women do follow our lead. We say we want to be leaders, and when they actually follow our lead and do as we do, we want to complain about it. And it's ironic to me because you have 100 bodies, and detaching from them 100 bodies, as he just said, is difficult. It's difficult detaching from all of the bodies that you're dealing with, but it's possible. It's possible for a man. It's possible for a woman. It's about when we mature enough and we start exercising discipline to do so. But man, he said a whole lot that I can't tap into everything, but it did trigger the hypocrisy that I feel, where we have a lot of the roots of our gender wars that currently go on in our community. And I just always I laugh at some of the women wanting to be men, and I laugh at some of the men who don't want them to be exactly how they were. And it's not a real laughing matter, although it does make me chuckle, but it's out of the irony of it all, because I think we can do.
Yep, Matt lost him.
Yeah, he'll be back. Anybody else want to?
I just wanted to jump in. I just wanted to jump in on the when you talk about the compatibility thing, how we talk in these spaces, how a lot of people that especially when it comes to getting married, like the person needs to be like perfect, like you have to have like all these ducks lined up before you can marry them. So when it talks about, again, this sexual compatibility, how that person needs to be on your level, or else it's a no-go. But I'm wondering, are these people, are they looking at marriage for the long term? Like I've always looked at, talk about building intimacy, growing, with your partner. It's a journey. It's not just the act. So you may be coming in on different levels. You may have a lot more bodies than your partner, or your partner might be a virgin, or whatever the scenario is. But it seems like nobody has the patience to grow into something. First of all, can you come in as an empty cup and be filled? But it's almost like you have to have your black belt in all the sexual arts, or else she ain't the one, or he's not the one, or whatever. So it's difficult for me to talk about intimacy. Like if you're already at the top already, then what are you going to be building together? So I think his points on this idea that it's so important to be sexually compatible, I think it's more important that you're sexually functional. Again, if you have an issue, if you have a problem, a physical problem that would prevent you, then that needs to be known, that needs to be shared, and that needs to be considered. But this idea that you have to have cornstar skills before you go into something, I just think that a lot of people are setting themselves up for failure, and I don't think it's an unrealistic. I don't think it's a realistic expectation. If you're talking about 30, 40, 50 years, you can learn. I mean, give me someone who's willing to learn something, we can work with that. That's just obtaining skills. But someone who think they got it already, you really can't do anything with that. So that point, I think if I understood what he was trying to make, I think that I would agree with. But I think we put so much emphasis on being sexually compatible, or this idea like, I don't know if we're sexually compatible until we actually do it. Which again, as he started out with saying, we shouldn't be, especially if you're Christian or whatever, you shouldn't necessarily be doing it before marriage. But that seems to be in today's culture. That seems to be the criteria for everything. So that part I did, that resonated with me.
Yeah, and it's also it's not just the sex part either, Paul. It's everything else. People, both men and women, they want their partner to come already assembled, configured the way that they want them to be, right out the box as soon as you meet them. And you said it yourself tonight. What I've been saying for the past few months now is that no one wants to build towards anything. They don't want to build. This affects both men and women, but you hear women, they're the loudest about it. But with men, when you hear them explain to you what a relationship is, it's like, oh, okay, I get it, bro. You don't want to. You're saying the same thing, just in a different way.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? So, people don't have the patience anymore to build. It's instant gratification. World Class says it all the time. Instant gratification, something for nothing, and whatever else he says. You guys, But yeah, instant gratification and something for nothing. They feel like they think that just because they've accomplished things in one area in life, they now deserve the best from other areas in life that had nothing to do with what your accomplishments did. For example, I was in the Army. While I was in, it became a part of who I was. But when I got out, I had to reprogram myself into understanding that that's not who I am. That's something that I did. Today, you have people out here who need to reprogram themselves from a lot of the bad habits and bad lessons they've learned in life about relationships, and just program themselves, period, about forming a true connection, getting along with someone, learning to understand another person, learning to build something together, especially like you said, we're talking 30, 40, 50 years, if that's what you're looking for. People have to learn patience and forgiveness. Understand that we're human. We're going to make mistakes. You can't jump out just because, what I'm saying? And I understand people. It does depend on what that mistake is. However, if it's something that can be worked on, or it is currently being worked on, wait until you see the results. But now people, it seems like 2 days, someone meets someone, and then, I didn't like the way he tied his shoes. I'm out. You hear this stuff though. I mean, it's funny. It's not funny, but it's right. So sad that it is funny. The only thing you can do about it is laugh, because it's so ridiculous. And no one's thinking of the greater good. Everyone is thinking people are thinking only of themselves and what makes them feel good, which is understandable. You should have a portion of that. However, you have to keep in mind that other person has feelings too. And if you see the other person putting in the effort, that's a person you can build something with, because that person's trying to build with you. These days, Paul, Dr. Bennett, Dr. Steele, it seems like people will look at that, the person currently putting in the effort, and they'll just say, well, not enough. And then they'll just throw it away. Something that is otherwise a perfectly good relationship. And it happens all the time. It's not a small thing. It's not something that happens to a handful of people. And be careful. when you are being vulnerable with someone,
Uh-oh.
seriously, that could come back to bite you, because we've seen on these panels in these spaces women use men's vulnerability and weaponize it and come after them and make personal attack. Black Man Unfiltered was on a panel earlier today. He didn't know I was watching while I was sitting here I was working, and he was trying to talk to a woman. This woman just starts talking over him. Now imagine if he'd have told her something personal about himself. Just imagine what she would have done. And the only thing she did was, "You're a woman. You're feminine. You're feminine." Wouldn't let the guy wouldn't let the guy talk. And it's just, that's what do we do about that? Well, there's nothing we can do about that except educate one another, and hopefully people would take heed to the information and do the self-improvement that they need to do to monitor their behavior and keep themselves in check.
Hey, Mandrell, can I add to that a little bit?
Go right ahead.
I see a lot of these guys where they talk about they don't want to have to deal with a woman that's not perfect. And yet they sit around and they complain because a woman waits at the finish line after they put in all the hard work.
And they're doing the same thing.
But they think less of that woman sitting at the finish line, but at the same time, they don't have no mercy for someone who's in the process of becoming great.
Exactly. So it goes both ways.
It's just
we've seen both genders do it. Like I said, the women are just the loudest ones about it.
Yeah, I know Sir Hale's going to come eat up on this one. Go.
Now, fellas, I've listened to this cavitry for long enough. You guys are having a conversation and agreeing with each other, but you guys know a lot of this stuff is untrue.
No, it's not.
I'll tell you what I mean by this. Yes, it absolutely is. First of all, Sean Bolden, if you're still online, please come back on camera, sir. You've said some things that are blatantly disrespectful to the truth, and I want to talk to you directly, sir. Sean Bolden. He said that women are following the leader when it comes to who they sleep around. Sir, most men ain't getting none, and most men ain't getting it on the regular. So I want to dispel that myth that women are following a man's lead in terms of them going out being sexually promiscuous. It is not them following the lead, because most men ain't getting it like that. That's number one. The second part is I think we have to add some credence to the fact that there are some biological factors in here. That if a woman goes out and she is overly promiscuous, that it does change her ability to pair bond with people. So while we want to be idealistic and want to compare apples to apples, it is a very different thing. Women in their sexuality is different than a man's. And I think that we have to respect that, because if we don't, we're going to be setting up marriages for failure. And we're going to start training women like we train men. And as we've seen in studies that have been done, you cannot culture women and men the very same way, because we're very different creatures.
I would like to say this. Earlier, one of y'all talked about, sex before marriage. Now, when you talk about incompatibility, you're really making comparisons. People are so busy comparing, one sex to another and things of that nature. And when they talk about, sex before marriage, right? You marry somebody, both of you have sex for the first time. It's like, who are you comparing to, huh? You don't know whose sex is better or not. Okay, all you know is that person. Now, if you've been promiscuous before marriage, you're right. It gets real hard. And that means one of these things are going to have to happen. One, you can either try to level your sex up to the others, or you're going to have to make some sacrifices. For example, suppose a man performs, sex about 100 times, right? And most of the time, fellatio is performed on that man. All of a sudden, he gets married. He settles down. The wife doesn't do it. Okay? That means he has a choice. he could either, communicate with the woman what he likes, or he can sacrifice it. One of those two things are going to have to happen. Now, listen, this is only sex, okay? Because we all know a relationship is way more than sex, all right? The sex is important, but what you do is not as important, okay? You're still getting that intimacy. You're still getting that feel-good aspects of sex, okay? So, me personally, if I have to sacrifice the kinky stuff, I believe it's worth sacrificing.
No, we need the boom sound effect on that.
Whoa. Say that again, Brother Steele. I don't think we heard you.
We heard. I heard.
No, we heard that.
No, I just want you to repeat it. I want you to repeat it for the people in the back with hearing aids. Go ahead.
Okay. What I said was, right? If a man was promiscuous, right? He had all types of things done to him, including fellatio. He gets married, right?
Mm-hmm.
The wife doesn't do that.
Okay.
That means he's going to have a choice.
Mm-hmm.
He can either communicate with his wife or what he like, or he could sacrifice that.
Okay.
And I also said, sex is not the whole relationship. It's only a part of it. Even though sex is important, what you do in that process is not as important to me. So, if you have to, this is me personally. I ask myself, all the kinky stuff worth sacrificing? I believe so.
You can
Black man, can I say something? Black man, can I say something real quick? Lady Hell, if you're watching this, to get off this stream, I don't want you hearing this. I don't want you hearing this at all.
Oh man. Sir Hell.
So you mean
Trey, you sound like a robot.
Shout out to that.
What's going on?
Get him
I heard
off
you
the
say.
line.
I
didn't know if you knew this.
No, I'm just asking you what's going on.
Then
I
when
get
you
that.
get
I
there.
don't know why you're not listening.
Go ahead. Who was about to go?
Let me jump in real quick. So
Trey gone. He's probably messed up.
Yeah, is he gone?
Yeah, he gone. Go ahead, easy man.
All right, so real quick, I'm about to knock the table over a little bit. So number one, and I'll actually go in reverse order. Number one, I'm not sacrificing much of anything when it comes to the sex, especially if that's the only person that I get to do it with for the rest of my life. And the pushback there is I'm not going to marry somebody that's not going to do the things that I want to do in that way. And the other part of that, and I think this is the part that a lot of men miss, is there is a certain thing of reciprocity when it comes to that type of stuff. If you are not willing to do this, to do certain things that you're asking of your spouse, don't expect them to be as giving and willing to give you those same things back with any amount of effort or energy. All right, so some of y'all might have to play that back on the repeat of this. The other thing, and this is where I'm really going to shake the tape, is I don't believe in pair bonding. I don't believe that that's a real thing. Y'all gonna have to show me some like stats, data, like research, all the way down from the rooter to the tutor. I don't believe that. While I do believe that sex can potentially not necessarily bond you to certain people, but you are physically entering some people and all that. But I don't believe in the pair bonding thing. I don't believe that the more times that you have sex, that it makes it more difficult for you to connect to another person. And the reason that I say that is because there are people who are married and in relationships who have way more sex than single people who have a bunch of bodies. Like somebody could have 400 bodies, but yet another person can be with one person and have sex 1,000 times. So at that point, who's going to have more difficulty pair bonding? The person with the more bodies, but less times, or the person with the more times or the less bodies. So I'm not. So to be clear, I'm not out here promoting promiscuity. That's not what I'm doing. That's not a get out of jail free card to just do whatever you want. But I think that we as men kind of have to step back from some of this information that limits our ability to fully understand and comprehend our sexuality, because in reality, your sexuality begins with you. Before you ever touch another person, if you're not in a place where you understand what gets you off and what gets you moving and what ways you like to be touched, how in the world can you expect a stranger to come in and do the things that you want to do? And the more that we can kind of the more that we can kind of communicate that to say, hey, know your body before you decide to give it to someone else, I think we're all going to have a lot better sex. Because the last part of this, where I'm really going to shake the table, is I think most people are having awful, terrible, garbage juice sex.
Yeah, most of them married.
Well, no, it's married, it's single, because we don't promote enough.
It ain't us single people.
Oh man.
Now, easy money. Let me respond to easy money about the bodies. Okay, bodies, and bodies. When it comes to the bodies, Doc, I think that is a problem with the bonding of a person. Let me tell you something. When you've had, and we're gonna be raw tonight because this is barbershop talk. When you've had big dick, small dick, medium dick, curved dick, sideways dick, mushroom head dick, dick, since you were 14 years old, and you've been dick down, you've been to Dickanopolis, and since 14 years old, you've had them all, and then you get married in your 30s.
First of all,
and you expect that man with that one dick, after she's had 1,000, you expect her to just go and just deal with that one penis. It'll be very hard for her because she's been knocked down, thrown around. But I'm gonna take on my boy Scam Likely right now. Knocked down, thrown up, leaned over, bent over, and scoured by all these men. You think that she could just settle down for one man, to just one guy? And it reminds me of Blade. Y'all remember the movie Blade with Wesley Snipes? Wesley Snipes used to walk around with this little contraption that he put in his mouth. Why did he put that in his mouth? He put that in his mouth because he had a taste for something, but he didn't want to. He wanted to suppress it. And I think that's what a lot of women are doing out here in the world today. They suppress that want, right? They could be with their husband, but I guarantee you, if their husband have a bad night, she gonna be like, "Oh, but that damn Sir Hill used to fucking shit on me." Right? She's gonna think it in her head.
Lady Hill, log off. This is just an example. This is not true.
Just an example.
We're celebrating 16 years in the 21st.
She's supposed to be dropping the kids off at the barbershop anyway. So why she?
You
drop the son off at the barbershop and you keep it moving. So
right. If you up there doing your job and you stroking it out, and she probably thinking to herself, "Oh my God, man, I remember when Mr. Bennett used to throw that oil on me and tear me down." Right? The women would think that way, and I think the women in the chat understand that as well. And I don't think a woman can actually, that has been with that many men, I think they'll suppress it because they want to be married. But don't ever forget, they don't ever think that they don't want variety, especially a woman that's been that promiscuous. They're gonna want variety, just like men who have had 4 million bodies. They're gonna be like, "Damn, man, my wife getting a little slow. She can't get on that thing like she used to." But old girl, I seen them all yesterday, boy, at Subway. I bet she can, woo, right? So let's just be honest, please.
Absolutely.
I'm being very honest. I push back on that because I feel like I know that the connection that you have to the person can mean more than the previous sexual experiences that you've had with people. It is 100% possible for you to be the love of a woman's life and not be the biggest or even necessarily the best that she's ever had. But if she loves you, if she's into you, that 3-incher is going to feel like 12 inches. And she's going to be satisfied. She's going to be satisfied every single time.
You was on a roll.
Oh my God.
You can stop it.
Yeah, until she meets some mandingo.
You're talking like
Man.
less than 1% of women
Until
have
she
that
at
ability
the,
to
until she at the
express
gym,
all
until
of a
she at the gym, and Curb Dick Ernest passed by and rubbed up against her thigh
Exactly. And he's
with
gonna
that
be
penis.
he's gonna be clapping your wife's cheeks
Man.
by the end of
You
the
know
week.
what? To Easy Money's point, you're right with what you said. You're right that she could be connected to you. She could love you. You could be that guy to her. Like that, I don't have any pushback. But she can love you and still cheat on you. And I think that's one of the realities that a lot of men don't want to admit. That you could be a great man, you could be a great lover, a great friend, and she could love everything about you. And that one area, it's a reason why women focus so hard on women cheat better than men, and you'll never know. Is because it's possible for a woman to know you're all those qualities of things, and she still has somebody on the side who's taking care of that other area of her life. So we can't assume that.
Yeah, I'm that guy.
Yeah, we can't assume that because you guys have a connection that means loyalty, because it doesn't. Not in 2023.
All the
agree.
married women I've ever slept with, I'm sure they love their husband, and I'm sure they love their family. And yet here she was, face down, ass up, in my bed. I'm sure she loved her husband though. We need to stop acting like married women aren't as in some cases as sexually deprived as men. We need to stop acting like some women in marriages aren't as promiscuous and aren't as horny as some. Like they out here, they are out here, and I don't know why we act like married women are out here getting it in. They're living their best life. They going. I just met two women that were in the gym. They're both married, talking about they going to Jamaica. I said, oh, okay. Your husband's y'all gonna enjoy it. They said, no, we're not going with our husbands. Okay.
Right.
Y'all keep playing that game.
Right.
Hey,
And that brings to the point that I was saying to you, Sir Hale, when you addressed me. It's yes, we did that. And yes, they are doing it now. And the reason why they're getting caught, quote unquote, or they're getting, because they don't care like we didn't care. And so I don't understand why you're in this place of unbelief that this doesn't exist and it doesn't happen and we didn't lead it. Just because now, to your point, yes, generally speaking, men were more promiscuous than women historically. Now they're catching up. Specifically speaking, yeah, there are men who don't get sex. I agree. But generally speaking, we led the way, and I don't understand where you
Do
missed that.
y'all see these street interviews with these women, and they always ask the women what's one thing that your ex-boyfriend or your ex-husband didn't know, and they all say the same thing: I cheated on him. I cheated on him. I cheated on him. Every single woman gets the same answer: I cheated on him.
I don't think, Sir Hill, I don't think it's about the amount of men versus the amount of women that have sex. It's the men that women look to that actually leads how they're doing it. If you see what they complain about, men can do this, but we can't do this. Men can do this, but we can't. And even though it can be a smaller percentage of men, that's who they're looking at. The rest of us, yes, the rest of the guys, they would be so-called invisible to those women. So I get what you were saying when it came down to it, that there's a lot of men that's not getting sex on the regular for real. I agree with that. However, the men that they look for, because women, if you ask them how many out of 100 men, how many men do they think are having sex? A lot of them gonna say 90, 85.
I'm just not buying this. I'm gonna tell you. So let's get real. Since we had a barbershop talk, It's like the only time I hear women say, "Well, men can do it, so I can too," is when it comes to sex. Well, men get in the gym. Why you ain't in there as well? Men are eating healthy. Why ain't you eating healthy as well? Men are reading books. Why ain't you reading books as well? It's like the only time if women say, "Well, men did it, so we can too," is when it's ratchet. And I'm saying if this is genuine leadership, then it can't be where it's only the leader when it's something that goes against morals and ethics. You're following men, but the other stuff you just left that out. That's what I'm saying.
Black people and white people.
Yes, it can be.
It's the same thing with black people and white people.
And the last thing is, I don't think people understand how difficult it is for men to get sex. Like in today's world, it is difficult for men to get sex, and it has always been easier because
it's difficult for some men to get sex.
Yeah, you got it.
Just let me land. Just let me land this part, guys. So, and when I say men, I'm not speaking. Guys, come on, we men, we ain't got to do 10%. Y'all know what I'm talking about. It's
I
if
follow you,
you
Sir Hale.
if you put out percentages, it's difficult for men in mass to just go have sexual partners than it is for women. And we have to factor that in as well. So JT, I think you made a really good observation that we're going to look into that smaller percentage, but that's why I said it's not apples to apples. And I find it ironic that the only time when men do it, we can do it too, is when it's on some ratchet stuff.
You know why it's like that, Sir Hill? It's because these clowns out here keep smashing the fat chicks. There's no incentive for them to get in the gym.
Fat chicks need love to trade.
What are you talking about? The average 4 who's overweight. Oh, I bet you every single woman that's in that picture, every single woman in that picture can pull a dude. Every single woman in that picture can pull a dude.
They're women. They have they got a meat wallet.
So that's my point. That's my point. They have no incentive to get in shape. That's why, because they still some dudes still gonna.
So life is not an incentive. Health.
Every one of those gentlemen, every one of them women can't pull a dude. They can have sex with a dude, but they can't pull a dude. So let's get off of the nonsense. But
that's what we were speaking on as far as the sex.
But now sex.
We're talking about sex.
But
no, I disagree with both of you. Have y'all seen my 600-pound life?
Them women always have dudes.
They got husbands.
Them husbands are more low than some of you guys.
Boyfriend or husband.
Have y'all seen a rich 600-pound man? He got a wife.
How many men are rich?
The point. That's the point. Rich, though. That's the point. Exactly. That's why I said when I was pushing back when you said it's hard for men to get sex. If in fact you don't have money. If you have money, it's easy to get sex. Period. And we know this. So why are we acting like that? We don't.
Yeah, but they gonna get your ass on the other end in court.
Okay. Nobody's arguing that. Nobody's arguing that. We're just talking about sex now. Let's not move the goalposts. Sex,
you ain't gotta
if you got money,
sex, bro.
I agree.
Let me qualify what you're saying. I want to make sure I understand.
You can get women, man.
I agree.
So let me ask you what do you mean? So when you say if you have money, you can get sex, do you mean, and I'm asking so I know, so I'm clear. Do you mean relationship wise or something else? I just want to be clear.
Well, we were just talking specifically about sex, according to what y'all said. So I'm talking specifically about sex.
Oh, me too, in this category. So that's what I'm saying. Like, what do we mean? We're talking about in the context of a relationship, if you got money, or the other thing.
You said, wait, repeat that because I'm confused.
So we can go to the street corners and pay for it, or if you got money, you can attract a woman. That's what I'm trying to understand. What point you're coming from?
Both. If you got money, you can go to the street corner if you so choose, and you're gonna attract people because that's what they're attracted to is money, and you're gonna get sex whenever and however you want.
Yeah, I'm just saying that most men, though, they're not trying to go pick up nobody. Most men want the stability of a relationship. Most men.
We wasn't talking about the stability of a relationship. We was talking about sex. The stability of the relationship is a whole different topic. But you said it's hard for men to get sex, not relationship.
You did say that.
I think it's marriage. The context of the conversation, I think it is marriage related.
Well, then if we're talking about marriage, then you made a lot of good points was made by Mandrell. People don't want to put in the work. People don't want to don't want to put in the effort that it takes to have a significant and substantial relationship. So that's a whole nother topic. But if we're just talking about sex and the lack thereof, that's what I was speaking to.
See, I think that is a myth, though. I think that if we're talking about the $100,000 range, I think that depending on where you go, it depends on where you go.
Wait, what part is a myth? Oh, Sir Hill.
Yeah, so if you got money, you can. So let me qualify. So let me finish what I'm saying, and then tell me if you got a different thought. So, like we've told a lot of men that if you just go get the bag, you can go get women. Like you get the bag, you'll get women. That's just not true. Like you get somebody to sleep with, but it takes more than that, right? And certainly you don't want to have a woman who's with you.
I got to disagree. There's a lot of sugar babies out there that'll run to a wallet.
Yes, I'm saying. So you don't. That's not a long-term strategy for happiness. As a matter of fact, if you get a woman who's solely interested in your money, it's going to end up costing you more in the long run than it is. So you won't even have that money, right? So that's what I'm saying. Most men don't want to have to rent a woman. They want to have a woman that is there with them, on a consistent basis.
You're right. You
Yeah,
want
well,
loyalty and love, but unfortunately, that's part of what we're speaking about. Loyalty and love, morality, loyalty and love has been replaced by monetary gain in selfish ways. So,
yeah,
if in fact we're not going to address that and look at that thoroughly, then we have no conversation.
right. It
Yeah.
also, well, what I was gonna say, I was gonna add to say to Sir Hill is that it depends on the type of woman you want or willing to settle for, whether it be for life or for that night. Okay, so if you're looking to just get laid, okay, then whatever will do, as long as you're physically attracted to her or whatever. But if you're looking for something long term, money ain't gonna help you because broke dudes get married all the time. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, the money is kind of a wash.
So
You know,
that's precisely
but
my
if you
point.
if you're looking for something if you're looking for something long term or something in a marriage, it's kind of a wash. You might not be able to get the woman you want because women have they have needs too. Some women want a guy with a bunch of money. Some women don't care about a guy's money. You know what I mean? So it just depends.
Where those women at, man, Drew?
Hey,
Point
you
them
know what?
out.
Well, I'm gonna say this. I heard Shannon Sharp in an interview say they asked him, "Are you ever going to get married? Because you're highly successful as a football player. You're a Hall of Fame football player. Now you're one of the biggest names in media, and they're about to bag the Brinks truck up for him. People are fighting over Shannon right now. And they asked him, "Are you ever going to get married?" He said, "Well, I'm looking for someone. The woman that I'm looking for," he said, "I'm not looking for a woman to sponsor." He said, "That ain't gonna ever happen." He said, "I want to be married, but I'm not looking for a woman to sponsor. She's gonna have to she's gonna have to bring something, and it ain't gonna be just sex either." So, and he's rich. He got some bread. Yeah, and he's talking like that too. So I guess you get to a point where you don't want to deal with it.
But he's also a rich middle-aged man too. So he definitely has a different type of prerequisite for when he pick his mate. That is. I mean, the man got too much damn money to be out there risking it.
Plus, he's already got a fan. He's not looking for legacy. He's already got that.
Right.
Agreed.
He's not looking for a young one to have kids with.
Right. He already
Agreed.
got kids.
And what's interesting is that's the point of view that I'm making. We speaking about sex versus a successful relationship. And a successful relationship is hard to come by, to your point, Sahel, but sex is not.
All right, Sahel, you want to respond?
No, I don't disagree with what Sean's saying. I guess the term is harder for men to get it. Maybe harder. Maybe we can take that out. Like we can go pay for it. But most men I know, I mean, let's be honest, guys. Like in your 20s, you got a big ego. And so if you got money, you want to flash it. All of the money to get the woman, that feeds your ego. After you get past that phase, though, you really ain't trying to impress women with your material stuff. You want somebody into you. And that's what I'm pushing for men. Because I think a lot of men, we are wasting time on women. And I think that if you want something successful, you got to put yourself in position of that. And I think that if you're spending time with a woman who doesn't want that, you're wasting your time on finding a woman who does want what you have to offer. So I think that's really all that I'm saying. So me and Sean, we don't really disagree.
All right.
Can I put her in the microwave for 4 minutes on high? That's what I need to know. I can't put her in the microwave for 4 minutes on high. I'm not wasting my time. This is 2023. This is not 1960. The dating scene is different here. I need it quick, fast, and in a hurry. I'm gonna play the same game these women playing. She waiting at the finish line. I'm waiting at the finish line too.
You gonna lose, Trey. You gonna lose every fucking time.
I can't. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm not gonna lose anything.
Trey, what does that even mean? What you just said?
It means I'm playing the same game.
She waits at the finish line. You wait at the finish line.
Same game they play, bro.
Sure, I can. Sure, I can play the same game they playing. I can play.
All y'all losing. There's no winners in that game. It's just a bunch of goddamn old ass losers. You can't play their game. You got to play the real. You got to actually get out here and play your game. You out there and trying to do what they do. They already running into a goddamn.
Y'all trying to play. Y'all
you
trying to play.
following them. You gonna run right in the back of their head.
Y'all trying to play.
Well, Trey, you absolutely
play
can play the same game, but just remember it's a game.
And they out here playing.
And we started the game, and now we're following them as the leaders of the game. Was the point that I was making earlier?
Yeah, but this is the thing. The game has never been with men trying to play the women's game. It's always the women trying to play the man's game. And then the problem is that the game was not the game that we was out there trying to get a woman based off of money and all that. We were just trying to be the best person we could be. Whether you were funny, funny and witty, whether you were good at dancing or playing basketball or whatever it is, it's still the same game. It's still the same game. What happened is that there's more men out here that don't have the confidence. You standing in your own way. That's all it is. You standing in your own way.
That's not what it is. The game.
I guarantee you stand in your own way because they keep looking.
The game has changed. And the fact of the matter is you guys have refused to acknowledge that the game has changed. You keep trying to bring that 1960s bullshit into the.
Bro, I was born in 72, so I can't do in 60. I was born in 72.
It's a metaphor. It doesn't work anymore.
I get it. I get it. But let me finish this out, Trey. Let me finish this out. The problem is still it's the man's fault if he can't find himself a mate. There's a lot of women out here. Y'all keep looking at the IG girls. Y'all keep looking at the girls that's dressed crazy as hell, looking like an avatar. Y'all don't know what the hell that y'all want in these damn women. And y'all let them dictate on how y'all should pick them. That's how it goes. The game is still the same. I don't care what you say.
The game is not
still the same. The players are just weak as hell now. That's all it is.
This is spoken like men who aren't in the game. The fact of the matter is that they all dress the same. That's the part you guys are understanding. It is becoming extremely more difficult to discern and decipher between who's a good girl and who's not the good girl anymore because they all look the same. They all dress the same. They all act the same. They all wear the same weaves and nails. They all go to the same clubs. They all hang out with each other. You can have a woman that's a part of a group, and she might be the least promiscuous woman out of the entire group. She may be a professional woman. She's got a degree. She may have a master's degree. And I guarantee you she's got two friends that are hoes. They are hoes, and she's hanging out with them. You cannot tell the difference.
Why would you be worried about that, though? Why would you be worried about that?
And on the
why
other
would you
part
be
of
worried
this
about
is
them
that
being hoes? See, the problem is that y'all don't know how to date. I'm telling you, you don't know how to date. You guys don't have requirements. Y'all sit back and do all this. Y'all don't have requirements. You got to be willing to walk away from that woman when she don't meet your requirements when you first start dating them. You got to have your own. You got to actually literally be serious about dating. When you're serious about dating, I guarantee you will knock all them false ass women out. But first, you got to know what the hell that you want. This dating shit is a man. I'm telling you, with the women and the men. Right now, I'm looking at it.
I'm so done with listening to. I'm so done with listening to guys who have been out the game for a while. Tell me how I should do.
Let me tell you something. I haven't been out the game for a while. That's what I'm telling you. Something that I can actually.
But you aren't the only one. You aren't the only one. It's been there's a ton of guys who've been out the game. You've been married for 20 years. You want to tell me how to date in 2023?
Wait.
When you haven't dated in 2023.
Marriage is not out the game. Marriage is winning the game. I would think you guys want to listen to a winner.
Hang on. I would love to see you guys code. I would love to see you walk up to a woman in 2023. I would love to see y'all get it done because most of y'all can't do it. And I've said this before. Y'all can never walk up to a woman now and do it. That's why you guys have been married for 20 plus years.
It ain't gonna never be a time where my ass can't get some type of woman on whatever level of life that I get to.
And then when I see the caliber and the woman, y'all trying to make it
let me respond to you, Trey.
Y'all not with top tier women. Y'all are with average, everyday, normal looking women. What are we talking about here?
Yeah, Trey. So hold on.
Talking about
if we want substantial,
hold on. Let's hear Sir Hale go, and then we'll get Sean. Go ahead, Sir Hale.
This is why I disagree because I date my wife every day, and it's a win every day. She's not the same person she was 2, 3, 5 years ago, and we adjust, and I get a chance to know the same woman. So you cannot keep on saying because a man has been out the game that you can't hear from him. You ain't even in a game. You can't even, not you personally, but men who don't have wives. You guys don't really even have the foundation to know what it takes. So I would hope that guys who want to be married will listen to men who are successfully married and happy, as opposed to you telling us we don't know what we're talking about.
You can't tell me how to date, Sir Hale.
I can tell you how to be married.
Yeah, but the point being, he's not trying to tell you how to date. He's trying to tell you how to be married.
But I'm not asking
That's
them
the
how to get
difference.
married.
And that's
Trey,
the
I'm not
difference.
asking them how to be
That's
Trey,
the
married.
just so
difference.
you're
We
aware,
agree.
I got a
problem.
philosophy.
That's a problem.
Marriage
You're
first. Hold on.
you're giving
Just so you
advice
know,
for a
this
question
is
I
my
didn't ask
mindset,
for.
Trey.
I didn't
Trey,
ask
just so
for.
you
I
know.
didn't ask that question.
Trey,
We're
just
talking
I
about.
want to say this and I'm done.
Hang on. We're talking about. Hang on.
My
Hang on. We're talking
philosophy for
about dating.
relationship
We're
is
talking about
friendship,
dating. We're talking
marriage,
about dating,
dating.
and you're
Hold
talking
on,
about dating the
just so you
same
know where
woman.
I'm coming
I'm
from,
talking about
Trey.
dating multiple women.
Trey, listen.
Okay.
This is just my
No,
perspective.
you listen.
It's
Why won't
friendship.
you listen?
It's friendship, marriage, and then dating. That's how I see stuff. Is dating
Okay,
doesn't happen
but
first.
that's not how it is. Out
And,
here,
Okay.
out here in
how's that been working for
2023,
you?
out here in 20, if Sir Hill, if I wanted to be married, I could have been married 4 times over. I've chosen not to get married because I got a lot of reason to not get married. So that's
Okay.
my
Well,
choice.
So,
But if hang on.
but
If I wanted to be married, there's nothing stopping me. There was nothing stopping me in my
okay.
previous relationships from marrying a woman. I could have married the mother of my daughter if I wanted to. I chose not to, and I have my
Okay.
reasons why I don't. But the issue
Okay.
is that I'm sick and tired of coming on these YouTube panels and these spaces and listening to men who have been married for over 2 decades tell me how to date women in 2023 when they are freer than what they've ever been. They make more money than what they've ever been. They're more independent than what they've ever been. And they will look you dead in your face and tell you, I don't need you.
Okay.
You guys have no idea. You guys have no idea what that feels like, and you guys are trying to make it seem like you can give me advice on dating. You can't. You can't give me any advice.
Okay.
And I
are you
would
done?
love to see married. I would love to see married men for once take an L and just be quiet about this. But you guys won't because you
Okay.
feel as though because you're married, you have the answers, even though you are 20 plus years out of practice.
Okay. Are you done? Can I chime in now? Because what you're tired of, I understand and I can respect that. What I'm tired of is us having a disconnect because we just have a different preference. And we don't, you want to be single and you feel that that's wisdom, beautiful, and it is. Him being married and he feels that's wisdom, beautiful, it is. But us sitting there separating because we have a different opinion or a different preference, I'm tired of because that just causes a lot of divide and disconnect. And that's where we continuously, instead of coming together, we continuously separate. So I'm tired of that just personally. But the point that I was going to make earlier uh, is if we're looking for substantial, we got to get over superficial. Problem is, a lot of men and women are superficial, but they're looking for substantial. And you can't lead with superficial thoughts, superficial desires, superficial concerns, and think you're going to get something substantial. And that's really what it boils down to.
And Sean, when they find the substantial, from your observation, what do they do with the substantial?
Often they don't value it, they don't recognize it, they don't even understand it.
They don't recognize and they don't understand it. Exactly.
And but to the point, but to his point earlier, it depends on your preference, what you call substantial. Because if you just want to date and have fun, substantial is one thing. If you want to get married, substantial is another thing. There's no problem with having 2 different ideas of substantial depending on your preference of the type of relationship you want.
I do. Let me say this.
Go ahead.
Like what Trey was saying was that he's not looking. And Trey, we've been on panels for a minute now. I understand what your position is because you're like, what's the purpose of marriage, right? When you're questioning what the purpose of marriage and you're not actually in tune with what the purpose of marriage is, you're going to keep dating instead of courting. And the problem is that if you're still out here dating, it's like playing musical chairs. That's basically what it is. You're just going in a fucking circle. Life is way more than just us going out to eat, us fucking, us just, it's more than that. What it is that you want to be able to build your own fucking community. And in order to do that, you got to be serious about courting a woman. If that's not on your plate, that's fine. We ain't got a problem with that. But when you're saying that dudes is out here and they've been married for 20 years and they can't tell me nothing because I'm out here and I'm talking to these women right now. Okay, I get what you're saying on that, but dog, they accomplish what they were trying to get done. And that was to start the classroom of marriage. Not being in a goddamn, like when you just out here dating, ain't it like you just registered? You ain't enrolled no fucking where. You just registered. If you would see the end results when you start talking to old people that ain't never married anybody, ain't never lost anybody, ain't never had any children with anybody, ain't never did all of that. Watch how sad their life is. Watch how sad it is for them to go out there and waste their fucking life because they were scared of certain things. One of them is marriage. It's going to scare a whole bunch of men because of what we see right now. I'm one of the ones that say, damn, why would a person get married right now? I understand why I get married to the woman that I got right now. But if I was going to put her in the same category with all these other goddamn women, I'm going to be scared as hell. I would not be wanting to marry this woman at all. It's a gamble. All of it is a gamble. But when you just out here dating and you just going in circles and circles and circles and dating, you're going to look goofy as hell at 50 years old dating. And you ain't never been married. It's just as goofy as somebody saying, I've been proposed to for three times, but I ain't never been married. 4 times, but I ain't never been married. That's the dumbest shit in the world for us to do. To go out here and play games with our goddamn life when it comes down to being serious about it. Dating should be dating to court. From courting, that's when you marry. It's just that simple. We make it way more harder than what it is.
Yeah, so I got a question for Trey, and anybody who, if you don't mind,
Yeah, I don't mind.
in. So, like I often hear, you married men can't tell a single man what. So I would like to take this opportunity to learn something. So, Trey, what is it that married men don't know that it will be beneficial for us to know as far as what single men are going through today, as far as dating is concerned?
It's not about what you don't know. It's about the practical experience. You just don't have it because you don't have to, right? You're married. So you don't have to go out and go court a woman in 2023, so to speak. But let me be very clear about something. There's no more courting in 2023. You're not out here in 2023 and beyond courting women. That's not how it works anymore. If you meet a woman, and let me be very clear, I don't deal with ratchets. I don't deal with hood women. I don't deal with ghetto women. I don't deal I deal with professional women who have jobs, careers. They have bachelor's and master's degrees, and they are all the same. It's all the same. They all see the world the same way, and a lot of them want to talk about careers, being professional, and making money. Very rarely, and when I say very rare, I mean very rarely will you have a conversation with a woman who is a professional, who is making money, who wants to talk about being a wife and or a mother. It's very rare. Well, that I would say that might be a little bit different from the times that you guys, when you were dating and or courting your wives. They may have been having a completely different conversation. So when I hear married men talking about this, I'm wondering, well, when's the last time you've actually taken a woman out on a date in the 2020s? Now, JT may be a little bit different because he's fresher to the game, right? So I'd be more willing to listen to JT because he's got closer to the experience that I have because he's been in the game. But it is very difficult to sit here and listen to men who have been married for 20 plus years talk about how we should be dating when they have zero practical experience on what it is to date a 27, 28, 31, 33-year-old woman today.
I'm just asking, so I just want to be clear. I'm asking what are the differences between just what you assume that dating was for us 15, 20 years ago versus what it is now. So
I'm making the assumption that the quality of woman was different.
Okay. I get you.
So Trey, let me ask you this. I want you to tell us more about dating in this present time, dating in 2023. Tell us more about that.
What exactly would you like to know, Doc? I mean, if I could be more specific, or if you would like to be more specific.
Well, during my days, dating was about courting and vetting. I want to get to know the person, before I go on. But for what I've been hearing in different lives and panels, it sounds like it's about something else. And for what I'm hearing from you, it sounds like you seem to know about what it is. Can you elaborate on what you are talking about?
Well, here's the thing. in today's world of dating, I don't believe that women are having conversations coming in good faith. They don't want to talk about building a family like Mandra was talking about. Very rarely will you even find a woman who wants to build with you. If you can even get a woman to go on a date with you if you make $60,000 or $70,000, that was me at one point in time. When I was a police officer, I only made $71,000, $72,000, $73,000 a year. It was quite difficult to get a woman to go on a date with you because what she wanted to know was, how much money did you make? And even when I told her, oh, I'm a police officer, her next question was, well, are you a detective? Are you a lieutenant? Are you a captain? What kind of money are you making? These are questions that today, in today's age, and look, I wasn't in the 50s. I don't know, or the 60s. I don't know if women led with those questions. But when I talked to my grandmother, who was born in the 40s, and I asked her these questions, did you guys care about how much money a man made? And she said, well, no, we don't necessarily care about how much money he made. However, we did need to know that he made some money. He was stable. He had a job, right, that he could take care of us. But whether or not he was making a whole bunch of money wasn't really the difference. When I talked to my grandmother about $100,000 a year and being this tall, she laughed. She was like, I don't know what that's about. That's obviously new to her. She was born in the 40s. But when you're in this day and age, these women want to know, how much money are you making? That's one of the first things they want to know. They want to know what kind of car you're driving. They want to know. It's all kinds of nonsense. And again, I'm not talking about these superficial. I'm talking about professional, office working, government employee type women. Like these are normal, everyday women, and they have the same ideologies. Why? Because social media has a heavy presence on them. Reality TV has a heavy presence on them. This is what they see every day. So they're starting to adapt the things that they see on TV that the women are doing on TV and the women are doing on social media. And they're thinking, well, I can do the same thing. You need to be making this. You need to be this tall. And at first I thought it was just a YouTube thing. I really did. I was like, okay, that's 6 foot, $100,000. That's just a YouTube talking thing. That's not real in real life. Until I start to encounter it on the dates when women are asking me, how tall are you? They're asking me in a text message after I got her number in the grocery store. You seem kind of tall, but how tall are you exactly? And I'm like, well, I'm 5'11". Oh, so okay, you just at 6 feet. And I'm like, what? what does that matter? Like, what does that matter? How much money do you make? And I tell them, well, I'm retired. Okay, well, are you getting a pension? How much money? They're asking these questions now. And Dr. Steele, I don't know, because obviously you guys didn't have text messaging back then, right? Like, I don't know if they asking those questions back then, but I'm telling you, in today's age, these women, they want you to come to these dates with a resume. They want you to show this. Look, this is what I have. And a lot of women, the foodie call, the foodie date thing is a real thing. I don't know if you guys saw that, but there was a study that was just done where almost 33% of women admitted that they've just gone on food dates. They didn't even really like that guy. They just went on food dates. I don't know. Was that a thing back in the 50s, in the 60s, in the 70s? I don't know. But today's day and age, a woman will just go out with you just to get a free meal. There's a
or they can just smoke with you.
That's that superficial that I was speaking of earlier.
I'm trying to figure out why it's different because a woman makes more money, that you're dealing with a better quality of woman when you're just looking for another body to put your penis in. Because we did the same thing when we were young.
Right.
I mean, the amount of money she makes or the amount of money you make is kind of irrelevant when you're just looking for a warm place to put your penis.
It's a little bit different right now, man, because
you're just being the same damn low-hanging fruit, regardless of your income ain't got nothing to do with your quality and your character. It just means you're a rotten piece of fruit hanging on the vine with a bank account. Just like your
income has something to do with when it's time for her.
Porn stars, they got big bank accounts and they are low-hanging fruit. Nobody wants to wipe them up. I'm trying to figure out where this quality of high value, a high value man just looking for a warm place to put his penis. Really? That's not high value. You're low-hanging fruit.
Well, and just real quick, I want to jump in real quick for Trey. So I'm not quite sure who you think was dating in the 50s and 60s. I'm looking at the gentleman across the panel. I'm like, I don't think any of these guys are dating in the 50s and 60s. They're probably just born.
I'm not that old.
Yeah, I'm about to say.
I'm speaking more to the mentality is archaic.
Well, so where I'm going with this, And so, real quick, so where I'm going with this is, and I don't think you and I are that far off in age either. Like, I can remember in 2002, a girl telling me that unless she got a 5 carat engagement ring, she wasn't going to get married. I can remember people telling me in 2004, or a woman telling me in 2004, I'm too short for her to be dating. I've been told that my teeth aren't straight enough to be dating a particular woman. So to your point of, women are superficial and they're asking all these questions, it's always been like that. The game has always been the game. At the end of the day, it all depends on what your intentions are and how you're able to articulate those intentions to that woman. And it doesn't matter if it's the 50s, the 60s, the 80s, the 90s, the 2020s. If you're going into this just, like Corey said, looking for a place to park for the night, you need to be able to communicate that and make that and make that the focal point of the conversation and be willing to walk away. And I think that's one thing that I've noticed with, people that are dating, with men in particular. They're afraid of that rejection. They want to go along to get along, and they want to nice guy their way into some pants. And in reality, that's the wrong way to do it. Like, if all you want to do is get somebody to sleep with, just throw that out there on the table. You don't have to go on dates to do that. Instead of Uber Eats, you can get Uber Beats. You know what I'm saying? Like, just be honest and upfront about it. And I think that men struggle with that because a lot of men aren't honest with themselves.
How long you been married, Easy?
It'll be 16 years next year.
Exactly.
Can I? Peace to the channel, peace to the panel and the chat.
Hey, world class. What's up,
What's
man?
going on, sir? What's going on, Mr. Bennett, Dr. Steele, Mandro? Of course, somebody listening got to be up here. What's going on, Corey and Trey? Listen, I'm 37, so I'm probably the youngest on the panel, right? So I had my first girlfriend.
35, got to be.
All right. So at the end of the end of the 90s, and I started getting my game together around the 2000s. I became a master in like 2010 and picking up women. Got pretty good at it, and in the 20s, the 2020s, it is obscenely and dramatically different from the 10s and the early 2000s and the 1990s. It's so dramatically different. It doesn't make any sense. Trey is right. All of them are hoes. I'll say what he can't say. They are all hoes. They all have a I watched a girl. I don't know. I forgot what panel I was on. I watched the girl Danica. She made such a good point. She's married. She said that this culture that they have is all prostitutes. They have a prostitute culture. The crazy part, and they get their entire dress and everything is from prostitutes. But the crazy part is, as she was saying it, the makeup, the earrings, everything she had on was from the prostitute culture. Her whole presentation was prostitute.
And she's married.
And she's married. And I'm not, and I like her. I like her. Her points are valid, but that's how deep it is. They don't even know their hoes no more. Just like the dudes, who wearing their pants up their ass. They don't understand. Somebody just explained it on a live a couple of days ago that these dudes are mimicking guys in jail because they weren't allowed to have belts because they would use it as weapons and stuff and kill you. You know what I'm saying? They don't even know that they're hoes anymore.
Yeah, you
Like,
make
he's
a
right.
valid point. You make a valid point, and I want to just I've dated from the 90s, the 80s, the 90s, and I'm dating now. So while to some people's point earlier, it is the same. Only difference is now it's exposed a little bit differently and a little bit better and more. But it's been the same. I've heard women ask the same questions: how much you make since I was a teenager. I heard women be superficial since I was a teenager up until now. Difference is it's more popular to be superficial right now. And that goes for both genders. That goes for women as well as men.
But
Men,
here's the shift though. The shift is that's regular stuff that people be saying like that's normal stuff. I'm gonna give you the real deal. The real deal is all of them are looking for a dramatic exit.
that's
They can't
always
wait.
been the case. That's
But
been the case.
but it's mixed with the other part is it's mixed with something that a lot of people don't want to talk about, and that's pretty girl world and handsome guy world. They're seeing it on TV every day, and they want to be a part of something that a lot of them can never be a part of. When you're one of these women that are 7 and up, you can end up anywhere on the planet at any day. And what happens is day in, day out, see the it's just like it's just like the change of form in water. Like to different degrees will change the form. Like 32 degrees is freezing, 33 you're not frozen. They're getting such a high degree of a life they will never live, and the envy that's built up. They can't wait to act like they're somebody they're not, and be in a world and act like they're going to be a part of a world they will never be a part of. Like I said, I've done all of it. I'm probably the most terrible up here. I ain't gonna say a lot to you. I got like 40 numbers in one day. Like I'm horrible. It is dramatically different from 15 years. Super slow. I was ridiculous, but it's dramatically different from when it was 15 years ago. It's so
but
different. It
I'm
doesn't
not
even make any
saying
sense.
I'm not disputing what you're saying. It's not as different as you think, is what I'm sharing with you. Have you ever seen the movie School Days? It was the same mentality, just in college world. And it wasn't exposed as much. As only difference now is that we have social media to expose it a lot more significantly. But the mentality has been there throughout the ages. And what we're looking for is the rare gem that doesn't embrace that mentality. For example, Trey, you said you're going out with women. That's the first thing they ask. That's the first time you should have hung up on them. All right, cool, peace. I'm out.
I don't need the advice where I know what to do. I'm making a point.
All right, and it's not, well, if you don't want to take the advice, that's your prerogative. No problem. I'm still gonna lend it. And the point is that yeah, we can continue. It does exist. You're absolutely right. I agree with you. It exists. The mentality is growing. I will embrace that. To his point, it is growing, but it's no different. Is the point that I'm making? We dealt with it back then. We're dealing with it now. And yes, it is getting more significant, but again, it's on both genders. Superficialness is on both genders.
In the 90s, could you tell the difference between a hoe and a good woman? In the
Absolutely.
90s? Okay, well you can't. Well, you can't today. That's the point I'm trying to make.
And you can't. Can you tell it?
They all hang out.
Right.
They all hang out together. They all dress the same.
Okay.
I mean, maybe world class. Maybe you can say it in a different way than I'm saying it. But they don't want to listen to me.
I want to say it like I'm gonna say it like this. I'm gonna say it like this because you keep saying it's no difference. Okay, that's like saying there's no like y'all dealt with guns back in the day. So do we. We do it now. Like it's just guns. It's not. You're acting like different is something that the earth has never seen. No, it's an entirely different degree. That's why I use water. 32 degrees is freezing. 33 degrees is not freezing. We're on a completely different degree than what y'all were on. Gun violence is way different than it was in the 80s. Like they used to actually hide bodies in the 80s. They don't. They got this thing now called bareface. They just gonna shoot you bareface, broad daylight. They're just completely different with it. It's like the saying, yeah, we had debt back in the 40s. Well, debt is crazy right now. It's like something trillion. What is it? $100 trillion? It's like, okay, yeah, you can say y'all had the words back then, but it's at a ridiculous degree today.
Okay,
And I think
well, we're saying the same thing.
That's fundamentally we're not. I'm specifically saying we're not. It's disingenuous, and I hate using this word because everybody using it in space. It's disingenuous to say what you're saying. Yeah, we had the words back then. Yeah, they traveled back then. Yeah, they had communication in the 30s, but it's nowhere close to the degree in which we have it today. It's when it comes to the dating world. I'm just speaking to the dating world. I've been married before. It is ridiculously. It's so stupid. It doesn't make any sense because at the end of the day, there's no end at the end of the day. These chicks don't even want to get married to fleece you in child support court or family court. They don't even want to get married to be able to get the bag.
And once again, the reason why I said we're saying the same thing is because I said exactly what you're saying. I said, and I agree that it has increased. It has increased. Absolutely, it has increased. And the reflection of that increase is a lot of what we're seeing right now. But the mentality is no different. It's a superficial mentality, period. It's simplistic. It really ain't that complicated. It's a superficial mentality, and that's just being highlighted and increasingly highlighted, and it's increasing. The superficial ability is increasing. Okay, cool. But it's all boils down to being superficial, period. It's nothing else, nothing more, nothing less. It's superficial.
No, I gotta respectfully push back. I don't see a difference. Like our grandparents, ask your grandparents about the juke joint or the honky tonk. and asking them how they were getting down there. It's a good chance that there's somebody's grandmother that was tooted up on the floor of the juke joint getting it in. Okay, our parents was getting it in at the discotheque and it freaked Nick, and we was getting it in to Lil John. It's no different. All the stuff that is happening now has happened before. There, are there to the point that I think some of the other panelists made. So the social media make things more visible. Is there opportunity for more influence? Sure, but it's relatively the same stuff.
Can I ask you this question?
Yeah.
Is if a family member of yours, right? If they come home and they tell you that I got a diagnosis, I have cancer, early stages, or they say they in stage 3. Is it the same?
What? I'm sorry, I don't understand the question.
Your family member, they call you, somebody that you love and you care about. They say they've been found out, they've been diagnosed, they're in the early stages, that this tumor could end up being a cancer, right? Or they call and they said the next day, called an hour later and said, no, it's stage 3. Is that the same? You gonna have the same exact response, or is the urgency gonna be completely different from one thing versus the next? Early stages tumor it could be versus stage 3. How are you responding? The same?
I mean, unfortunately, I'd probably respond the same to the person. And the reason, and hear me out, because your question was specifically my response to them, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So if somebody calls me and says, hey, it's early stage, no, actually it's stage 3, like, number one, if it's cancerous in you, you got it. Like it's not like you told me you got a stroke or a heart attack and I got to drop everything and get to the hospital. So if you're telling me you got cancer, I'm imagining you're putting together a treatment plan with your doctor, or in the case of my grandfather who called me randomly a couple of years ago and said he had stage 4 lung cancer. He said, hey, I'm saying my goodbyes at this point. Ain't nothing you can do about it. You just got to keep rolling.
You know the difference between stage 1 and stage 3?
I'm very aware of the stages. I've lost a grandfather, a father, and a grandmother to cancer.
Okay, so there's no place we know that we can go. There's nowhere that we can call. There's no car that we can buy to be able to recoup 6-7 months.
Right.
4 or 5 months. The urgency is dramatically different. The urgency, because the biggest thing is like we poo-poo over time. Like there's no time, getting back to the subject, there's no time to court. There's no time to build a relationship, because this chick is only on this date to be able to get information so she can get back to the salon, to get back on the phone, to get back in the group chat with her friends. The time is completely different. You don't really have that much time. Especially like me, I don't watch TV, so I don't know what's popular. I just know how I talk, it works for them for that moment. But it's no point. It's like I can't even get through a conversation with a chick because it's not even a human being. This is just a customer. Everything is an over-counter cheap transaction with these, just talking to them. Everything is a heist. They're trying to get, what can I get away with real quick? It gets to a point, and it gets to a certain degree where there's at a point of no return, like critical mass, and that's where we are now. I'm not saying that this never happened in history before. You can look in the Bible and see all these things have happened. That's not what we're saying. We're saying it's at a degree where it's like it's like war. It's like zombie land. It's like
so world class. Let me ask you a couple questions here, because you're very articulate. I like hearing you talk, man. So I got 2 questions for you. One, you had mentioned earlier that at one point you got 40 numbers in a day, right? And you were out there, right? Do you believe that your own experience with women, from your perspective, may taint how you view and deal with women right now?
Of course not. It wouldn't taint it. No. Because that's just like you saying, just like you asking the doctor, would that would his experience taint him for thinking how health works? No, I just seen a higher value. Because in those 40, I met people that I knew were better human beings than me. And I learned how to be a better human being. So I don't do it now because I learned how to slow down. So it wouldn't taint. Actually, it was a good experience.
Wow.
So of those 40 women that you dealt with in that one particular day, right. And I'm just, and if you kind of extrapolate that out based on what you're saying, you've been around a lot of women, you got a lot of experiences, right? So you're saying that you were able to deal with all of those women on their level individually and not carry any of the experiences from one woman to another.
Of course. Yeah, you will carry the experience. Yeah. Why wouldn't I? You're always going to carry the experience from one to the next. Absolutely.
Right.
That's the whole point.
So to that point, right? So you're carrying the experiences on. And so how can the experiences that you had previously not impact the way that you view and deal with women today?
Impact and taint are very distinct things. Of course, it would impact. I wouldn't say taint because I became a better person talking to people I probably would have never talked to had I not had the bravado to just walk up to any woman and say anything.
Well,
So,
could it be?
that's
Can
what
I
that-
ask a question? Can I ask a question on the tainting part about it? Could it
Mhm.
be that the people who gave you that numbers are the quality of people that you attracted, and perhaps your broad experience is not as broad as you're making it because the people who didn't give you the number might have broadened your perspective that you don't know and you're not aware of?
Well, I definitely don't. I've been telling this to people for I think 20 years. You don't attract people. I don't know how you can be a Christian or a Muslim and think you can attract a person. They have free will. You attract opportunity with the frequency you think on. And then we're looking at, then we will play in the ratio of how many women I talk to and how many of them say no. Most of them say yes. I'm like 7 out of 10. So I don't play in the minority game.
So that was I hear what you're saying, and that was great speaking points. But the question I'm asking you specifically is that you are only exposed to those who gave you the number, regardless of how you got it. So let's
No.
just say
You would be
70%. Let's
I
just
would
say
also be exposed to the ones that said no too.
you're not you're not exposed to a conversation with them. You're exposed to the rejection of the conversation that you initiated, or whatever the case. You didn't get into their world,
Just because it's a
and that's the
rejection
point
don't
that I'm
mean it's
making.
not a conversation. Just because it's a rejection don't mean it's not a conversation.
You're going on semantics right now. I'm not trying to argue with you. I'm trying to make a point. And the
Right, your point
is
is mute.
that
It's not
okay? Well,
semantics because the
it's
point
going
is
to be
nullified.
mute
That's
if you
not how
don't
that
listen
works.
to it. It's going to be mute if you don't listen to it. You're right. I'm not disputing that it's mute if you don't listen. Only way you can mute it is by not listening. The point that I'm making, or that I'm trying to make, is that taint, if you're looking at the semantics of it or the definition of it, can be leaning towards a negative thing. But it is tainted if in fact you don't have full opportunity to have full perspective. If you only have certain perspective, then you are open to be able to get more perspective
Full
somewhere
perspective
else.
in what?
Meaning more
10 years?
meaning full perspective, meaning more than the perspective you have.
Oh, just no matter what perspective I have, just more than what I had. That we had
That will lend
That
towards
doesn't even
getting
make any
a
sense.
better.
It doesn't make any sense. You're
Well, then
generally putting it whatever experience, bro. Come on, you putting
So
it experience past whatever I had. That's come on. You're not being serious.
because your experiences are only limited to your perspectives.
My
So
experiences came from other men as well. I wasn't the only one. I learned
okay,
from.
it's still your perspective. It's still your experiences with the
So
older
their
men. You haven't
perspective was mine.
encountered every
All right.
older man.
What
have
you're
you?
doing is called compartmentalizing. For what purpose?
What
I
I'm
don't know.
doing
Right?
is having a
For that purpose.
conversation, and I'm not trying to sit here and
Right.
go into
Within the
semantics and
conversation you're having,
logistics of it.
within the conversation that you're having, you're compartmentalizing.
Okay, and what you're doing
For the
is
purpose of what?
what you're doing is you're just trying to sit here and play vocabulary gymnastics, and I'm not trying to play that with you.
Based off what?
Based off of what I'm listening to, based off your responses. I've been there, done that. I'm not trying to play vocabulary acrobatics with you. You ain't got to receive nothing I say, no problem. But it
I've been
can broaden
receiving
your
it. It's just getting
perspective.
rebutted. That's all.
Okay, and likewise.
And I'm doing it very well. We don't got to do the semantics means significance. By the way, that's what the word actually means. I'm
Okay,
rebutting what
great.
you're saying. Cool, great.
Okay.
You don't want to have a conversation, don't have it. But when you say something to me, it's going to be. That's why everybody's just sitting and watching. When you say something to me, I'm going to respond. if it doesn't make sense.
Okay,
And the stuff you're saying, you
and
just
like,
arbitrarily, again, you arbitrarily said whatever's it's just whatever my experience isn't. That's disrespectful, first of all. So you
well,
playing this like you're trying to have a civil conversation, but what
okay,
you were showing was disrespectful because you didn't have an
okay,
actual point.
well,
That's why I said what,
disrespectful
10
is a
years,
matter.
5 years.
Okay, well, disrespectful if you felt that way. Pardon the
I'm not.
offense,
It's
but
not feeling. It's
disrespectful.
just facts. It's facts.
Well, then facts
Black
is that
David,
you
it's
also being
Jesus. Wake up,
disrespectful.
Black
And that's
David. Black David.
Oh Lord! Oh Lord!
All right, guys. I need to bring y'all back because sorry, your face. I need to bring y'all back because I know it went in a whole nother direction, guys, and I want to keep it kind of straight. So I want to play the last video of the night, and we'll discuss that, and then we'll exit up out of here because this has to do with the title of the show. Your wife, she begged me to stay. Y'all don't know nothing about life, but let me go ahead and play this video real quick. And let's see, where is it at? All right, there we go.
But I was a hoe. So
Hold on. I don't know why it keeps playing it. Oh, I see why. All right, hold on just a second, guys. There we go.
But I was a hoe.
See, it keeps. Hold on. I got it. Hold on.
Trained my body.
I got it. How about those bears? All right, let's see.
In a certain type of way. My
All right, let me
wife
see.
had not been awakened sexually until I'm gonna just let that
She
man.
likes to kill a black man. Won't hurt their
Shit.
pride real quick. Yeah.
All these dudes out here talking about my wife won't do this, my wife won't do that. The average woman is not satisfied with the sex that she is receiving from her husband.
Why is that?
Because this dude doesn't even know what she wants and is too lazy to find out. And
all right, play it one more time.
that most married women don't like the sex they are getting from their husbands. I'm gonna just let that marinate.
Just like that. Won't hurt their pride real quick. Yeah.
All these dudes out here talking about my wife won't do this, my wife won't do that. The average woman is not satisfied with the sex that she is receiving from her husband.
Why is that?
Because this dude doesn't even know what she wants and is too lazy to find out. And
That's what all the married
All
women
right,
I've slept
fellas.
with have told me.
What are your thoughts? We'll start with Mr. Bennett.
No, I think he's right. It's a lot of this to me. It goes back to that conversation we had a couple of weeks ago, talking about how we all learned about sex. And for most of us, I don't think our education in sex necessarily came from a good place. A lot of us started out getting it from corn or some other place. Father never sat down with us and really gave us a positive view of it. And the women are definitely not having the conversation. And it's not coming from their mothers about it. So, the idea of coming into it with a positive expectation and a willingness to build something. I don't think it's something that we come in with. You just, and for folks in my generation or women in my generation, I've heard a lot of women used to tell me, it's like, well, they don't know, maybe not know a whole lot about sex, but the man is supposed to know what to do. And I don't have to know anything or whatever. He's supposed to just come in and just rock my world or whatever. And he's supposed to know all that. I don't need to know anything. But going back to the first question, we talk about intimacy. I think that's part of what it is. Again, being honest and transparent about your desires or whatnot, and creating an environment where you can actually explore one another. I mean, one of the, just coming from a Christian perspective, I know the Song of Solomon, which we never talk about. But if you look at the book, it's about a man and woman exploring each other sexually, exploring their bodies and looking at their bodies and having that that exchange. And you know, I don't see it, you know, are people actually doing that, especially if, whether you're married or with, you know, just with a partner? Are we vulnerable enough to say, hey, you know, I may not know everything, I don't know, you know, especially if you're virgins going into it, you don't know anything, but are you willing to ask the questions? Are you willing to learn? Are you willing for this, you know, for the health of the marriage? I always say, look, there's stuff that you're gonna be into just because you're into it. There's stuff that you're not necessarily into, but your wife is into it. So therefore, you're going to be into it because you know it turns her on. So you automatically get turned on because she's into it. And then there's stuff that, you know, that are non-negotiables for you that you're just not going to be into. But that's a negotiation. That's something that you work out during the course of your marriage. So if your wife is not being sexually satisfied, as a husband, you should be wanting to. That's part of your, you know, to about that provision. I mean, I would hope that that'd be something I would want to provide to my wife. If she's not satisfied, I want to be able to do that. So I have to be open, and we have to have a communication. But if you guys haven't established that intimacy to be honest with someone, with her, and she can be like, look, you know, Paul, you're not getting it done. You know, am I just going to, you know, that's just going to wreck my ego? Or I would say, okay, well, what do I need to do? You show me what you need done, and then we work on it together. So I think, you know, yeah, I think with this, you got to get your ego out the way, and don't just think that, you know, that you the Don Juan, you just know how to do things or whatever. I think just like, you know, guys, that's just bravado, and I think that's something we need to get over.
I think some men, and if I could, let me add this real quick. I think some men feel as if their wife have to tell them that they failed.
Yeah.
This is the mindset of some men. If they just imagine after sex, your wife says, oh, baby, you know, that was okay. It's something I need to talk to you about. What is it, baby? You know, lately, for the last few months, I haven't said anything. You know, but little Johnny ain't really something that I like. Like, it's something that you're not doing. I want, you know, more from you. Most men will most men, if we were talking from my man's perspective, will shut down. They listen, they're not trying to hear that their woman not pleased. Every man want to please their woman. And like we talked about, you know, like he talked about being spontaneous earlier in this earlier video. He talked about not spontaneous, being vulnerable. Vulnerability is saying the things that you would have never told her. And I don't know no man that's gonna go tell his wife she got trash cat. Now let's be real here, because for some wives you ain't gonna get it for about 6 or 7 months. She's gonna have to recover for that. But like Mr. Bennett said, you gotta have communication. But how many women are willing to have that communication with you, where you can tell her, hey babe, you know, when you give me head, I feel like I'm in sandpaper class, or if you know, or you know, when you ride me, it seems like I'm having sex with a paraplegic. You know, it's like if you're gonna be honest, if you're gonna be honest, if we're gonna be honest, let's just be honest. But do you think? And my question to everybody is, do you think that you're able to tell from a man's perspective? Are you able to tell your woman that she trash in bed?
You can tell her.
You
anything.
can't handle the truth.
No, you could tell her anything that you guys can actually work out. This is the craziest part. Let me ask the question. How many people been in marriage counseling? How many people after a certain amount of time being married, been in marriage counseling? It ain't a whole lot of them. As a person that has experienced that, let me tell you something. That shit is one of the hardest things to ever do if you put in the right work. Because what it does is it leads you to honesty, raw honesty. And it's going to point to intimacy.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to point to sex. And you won't be prepared for it because you won't be prepared for what your woman have to say to you. You just won't. And at the end of the day, that right there is going to either make you be a man or make you revert back to being a boy.
Wow.
Sir Hale?
Yeah, so I want to focus on the first part because I think it's so easy to go back and forth and to be like, well, if I'm Bill, well, look, let me tell you, this is an opportunity for me to tell you about yourself. And so I want to stay away from that. So the first thing, the clip is true, and it's true for a couple of reasons. Number one, most men learn what they learn about sex from scoring, right? So they learn the emotions and the movements, but they don't know anything about love. And I think us older men have to do a better job of teaching younger men about what it's all about. I think that's the very first thing. Second thing is, I think so many men. Sorry, somebody said something. I'm sorry.
No, everybody mute real quick.
Oh yeah, sorry. I thought it was somebody else. Yeah, so I think that's the thing. I do think that there is a fear because of the societal pressures, right? So a man the burden of pleasure is on him for the most part. Like if he don't perform, it's easy to say his size wasn't there, or it's easy to say he doesn't know what he's doing. So the burden is on him to provide pleasure. And a lot of the women who say that they're not satisfied, my concern is a lot of them are not as engaged in their satisfaction. It's like they're expecting it to fully be derived from what he brings to her. So I say that to say that when I hear things like this, I think it's an opportunity for two people to come together, and don't hope they give you what you want and then complain when they don't, or like don't hope that they give it to you and then you're secretly thinking about somebody else, and you're willing to go step out on your marriage to get that need met, because that's cruel. That's cruel to be with somebody who's trying to give you what you want and you're unhappy, and you're out of fear of hurting their feelings. You won't say nothing. It's the way you do stuff. So the way you handle it is not right after sex. If he's sweating and he done get abs now, like he done did the pelvic thrust to the degree where he's accumulated a new set of abs, he put some work in. That is not the time to say, hey, babe, well, I appreciate the workout you've given me. I appreciate the cardiovascular, workout that I've received. I appreciate all your work. I see that your hamstrings are tired because of, the level of passion that you've, like that's not the time to say, but it wasn't enough. You kind of wait.
Subpar. It was subpar. Your stroke was half strokes.
Right. You be like, listen, my hip is, do you know my hip hurt for all I did to you? That's not the time, right? So you actually have to set aside a specific time, and the conversation has to be about, here is what I like, and let me show you what I want. It's not a time for ridicule. You don't point out flaws, you show them what you want done. So in the 16 years me and my wife have been together, married, we didn't, it ain't nothing we ain't tried, right? And the reason why it's important for you to be with somebody who you can try stuff with and learn together with and talk with. And some days you should have a session where you're just figuring some stuff out. Right, especially early on, this is a session we just trying to figure out what we like. Most people don't take the time to know each other because they're coming easy. I'm coming back to you. They're coming back. They got 400 bodies. They got 400 experiences, and they're hoping that the person that they're with is able to just insert themselves into one of the slots that work, and it doesn't work that way. So if you're going to be with somebody, even if you're the biggest dude, sometimes your woman can't come off you having the biggest thing. A lot of guys think that if they slinging meat, then that's enough. Sometimes no. Sometimes you got to stimulate in a whole different area to get it to that. Sometimes it starts off with a little bit more love and affection, right? Sometimes you got to learn how to, work that thing. Sometimes instead of you just going in and smashing, slow it down a bit. Give a massage first, relax those muscles, tell her you love her a little bit. You got to be able to switch it up every now and again. She don't want to be made love to. She wants you to throw that thing. She wants you to she trying to get you to tear that thing up. So you kind of got to know, but this comes with the learning period of each other. And women, you need to be engaged in telling your man, and don't ever make him feel bad, because sometimes he's not going to tell you, but your sex ain't all of that. Like your knees get tired when you riding him, your jaw lock up every time. You know what I mean? It's always hurting. You can't turn over like you used to. Your stomach. Come on, it's all of us, and our bodies change every 10 years. So it's a continuous process of learning.
With a hamstring.
and respecting each other, right? So that to me, that's how you go about it. Don't ever make your spouse feel bad.
Yeah, but brother said, I would like that. That's what I was talking about a couple of weeks ago when we talked about that. So like with the women, again, how they view sex or how they've been taught about sex is such where they just don't feel comfortable with the conversation. Not every woman, and again, I got pushback saying, "Oh, modern women today, they into everything." But as far as being able to really have that communication, a lot of them think it's coming from a dirty place, especially if you're a Christian woman or whatever, if you're conservative, they're the worst ones because they never had a healthy introduction to it. It's just never been done, so they don't just feel comfortable with that with you.
Yeah, and kind of bouncing off of that, thank you for that, Mr. Bennett. I think that the way that we view sex or the way that we kind of interpret sex is always from a man's standpoint, and that includes women. And so, like, if you think about porn, right, the scene is over when the guy finishes, right? And so when that is, when that's imprinted in our minds and we're going into these things without a lot of knowledge, like it leads to a lot of bad experiences. Like if I were president for a day, this was, easy states of America, I would make every man take a woman's anatomy class so he can actually learn how the vagina works. Because we have this belief that, if you put a bunch of, penises in it, that it's going to stretch and get wide, and it does. It's a muscle. It snaps back. Babies come out of it. It snaps back and it goes right back to where it was. All right. Like, so we need to understand how it works before we get certain things into it.
Your Honor. May I approach the bench?
Yeah.
May I approach the bench?
You can.
Because some of them like a hallway.
There are some women out here right now that can park a 1972 Cadillac in that thing. And I just want to say, maybe it will spread, maybe it'll go back, but it ain't gonna go back because
Really?
oh yes, there are some women out here. Let me give you the preacher voice. There's some women out here that when you pull it in, a hand grab you from the last nigga that fell in it. It's some wrinkling ones. It's some ones that's too wide. There's some that's just it's too much. And it's a shame when a woman can push out twins just by passing gas. It's too much. It's too much. It's too much. So I want you to revise what you said, Your Honor. I'm glad I approached the bench. I want you to revise what you said.
I object.
Like one
because we understand that loose lips sink ships. So sure. I want you to go I want you to revise what you said, okay? Because some women out here are going getting vaginal transformations. I heard a few women at my job, they all got together and did a girls trip saying they're going to get their vaginas pulled back together after all these city buses that ran through it. So I want you to help me now. Why do they have these coochie reconstructions if it ain't possible?
Man. So I'll jump in on that real quick. So to your point,
one comedian said it's like throwing a hot dog down the hallway.
It's not quite
loose lips, sink ships, loose hips, dock 'em.
So to that point, not all vaginas are created equal. I'll give you that.
Now you're talking.
I'll give you that. But that's more of a natural anatomy than a usage issue. And even to that, we got a couple doctors here. Y'all help me out.
Hold on, easy. Somebody in the chat, the woman in the chat says, then BMU pay for our kid. That's what it's called. Vagina rejuvenation.
That's called exorcism.
I can't speak on what Dr. Miami and them do.
They tighten that thing up so far you can't even put your pinky finger in it.
Some of them can't close back.
What I do know,
their children in them. Okay,
what I do know is that babies come out, it tightens up. The average vaginal canal, unaroused, is about 2 to 3 inches deep.
Mm-hmm.
And I have spoken to people women who have had a lot of action, as you would say, and they swear that there's great pleasure. There's more pleasure to be had from a 3 to 5 than a 9 to 12. Kid you not. I don't know. I don't want to know. I'm not trying to find out. I'm gonna take their word for it. But knowing the dynamics and kind of the measurements of it, that I can understand that.
This is the second time I done
grandmother
heard
had a
something
saying.
like this tonight, fellas.
My grandmother had a saying. She said, "The devil is a liar." Because if you got a woman getting 3 to 6 inches, and then she meet Thunder Spine, and he got 12, she's probably gonna leave you. Because we already know wider and longer is better.
Not necessarily. Not
Is there
necessarily.
something that somebody want? Is there something that some fellas want to say on this panel? I'm just asking.
Sean, what are your thoughts about the vaginal reconstruction?
Oh man, that's about. Well, this is the second time I heard today about size, and it's not a conversation us men should be having amongst each other, because it's not really for us to determine unless we have something that we want to share with somebody.
You talking about the
that we might be. The size.
I'll push back on that a little bit, though, and I will say that I think that we need to be more honest in our conversations. And maybe if we were like a little bit younger and a little bit more single, this would be more prevalent. But like, we need to begin to dispel some of these notions that are allowed to linger around sex. Like a lot of the things that we went into sex believing isn't true. And so it's important that we have these, like before,
large cucumber.
But before I was in my 20s, I didn't know that the vaginal canal was only 2 inches deep. I didn't know that.
And I agree with you, but I think the conversation should probably take place amongst us, so women and men, so that they can give their perspective on what pleased them. We can give our perspective on what pleased us. But us talking about men's sizes is what I was referring to. We might not need to be talking about it with each other.
I was supposed to say pause.
This isn't a competition. If that's what you're referring to, I'm not trying to compare with anybody. I'm not trying to. This isn't a
Can I say something? There have been an issue in the grocery that we have a high price for cucumber these days lately.
Yeah, you are, Sarah.
It's important that we talk about this.
To Sean's point,
are
you big? And a man would tell that woman.
Let me just real quick to Sean's point. Like, it's important that we talk about this, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because so many men grow up and they have this insecurity. Every man is sitting in the mirror and just standing like Superman, wondering if your dang-a-lang swinging like a thing, like, right? So everybody done that, and a lot of men are insecure, and there's this assumption that if you're not this, then you can't please a woman. And so it's something to talk about. It is, because a lot of men sometimes overestimate themselves. They think that because they got this side, that's all that's needed. They go sling that to a woman, and every woman is going to be like, oh my. And you do have a group of women who like that, but that ain't all of them, right? And so I think it's important that you teach men to be confident with what they have, but then you teach men. I think was it Easy Money who said it? We have to teach men how to work a woman's bodies. But the even more critical thing is, you have to talk to your woman and know how to work her body. That's an important part. And it's important that men need to talk like this, because if we don't, we allow social media to make a man feel like if you're not 14 inches on soft, then you're not a man. You're not an alpha man. You understand what I'm saying? So it's important that we set the foundation as men, and then we have some confidence. Boys grow up and they don't determine their worth or their sexual desirability based off of something that a lot of women may not even be thinking.
But the problem is,
14 inches, not alpha, that's ultra.
No, see, that's the thing. And that's why I understand what Easy was saying when Easy was talking about this whole size thing. If a woman asks you if you were big, most men answer would be, I don't know, because I don't measure my thing against other men. That's the whole thing. We ain't sitting there trying to find out how big we are unless we looking at some other man's thing. The only time we know something like that, and it'll be like porn. You be like, those are porn stars. Average man, we not sitting there and measuring our thing with theirs. So I definitely agree with what he was saying.
We're gonna find out right now. She's gonna put her mouth on it, and she's gonna let me know right now. That's what's gonna happen. We don't need no mystery. We're just gonna find out right now, miss. Get to work.
But go.
Colin,
what's going on?
Get him
I heard you say.
I didn't know if you knew this. No, I'm just asking you what's going on.
Then
I get
you
that.
get
I
there.
don't know why you're not listening to me.
No hair.
Back up for a second. I just want to get clarity.
Mm-hmm.
You hear what you're saying out loud, bro?
But
World class is
going back
wild.
to that,
World class wild.
doesn't it still come down to still a connection with that woman? It's
Absolutely.
still
we gonna connect.
If she hasn't
you
been
have
run
that
through,
connection with her.
if she hasn't been run through,
Running dash.
yes.
Yeah.
It's just you and I. Or?
No, me, you, and Jose.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who,
So
how we gonna do
Some of
it?
these chicks have facilitated
All right.
track meets. I just want you to know that.
We waiting. With Jackson.
Sean, you might want to mute yourself.
My fault.
Nope, black baby. Mm-mm.
Yeah, some of these chicks have facilitated track meets inside of them. So I don't suggest, guys be like myself and find out the hard way. So don't. It's a whole culture out here today, and like Terrell said, that I can't see in these days and time, like a man, if you're not the size they want, I don't know what to tell you because they're gonna hurt your feelings. They're gonna be disrespectful. They're gonna hurt your feelings. But I appreciate what you're saying, Terrell, because that is true. We have, and like BM, you said, we have like you said, we have grown. We've seen the porn. So I seen porn. I was like, damn, this nigga got a whole wrist. Like I don't even like, he got a whole elbow to finger situation going on. I don't know if I'm gonna be. But then you find out through women, and sadly, that's a lot of what happens with males. Is a lot of our confidence be wrapped up in women. I'm sorry, because they give us the confidence, like, yeah, you this, and yeah, you made me feel good, and then that starts a whole life of your confidence being wrapped up to them, wrapped up in their approval and what they like. And I'm sorry, I go against it. I go against the finding out about their body. You need to find out about yourself. They have in the Kevin Samuels thing that women control access to sex, men control access to relationship. I disagree. Men control access to sex and relationships, because if you don't open your mouth, you're not gonna get anything. And you got to learn how to control your breathing. You got to learn how to control yourself. And a lot of that, your ability, your endurance is one of the most important things for you to be able to do whatever it is that you do long enough to please them. And then, definitely ask questions. I learned this from the BDSM culture. They may got some freaky stuff, but one thing they do in that culture, they ask a lot of questions. They get really, really in depth into what you like, why you like it, the way you want it, how slow, how they get really in depth. That's one thing I pull from that culture, is that they really get deep into what you like, why you like it, what you want to say, how you want to say it, 24/7, maybe after work, and getting into details. And that's one way. Like I've seen married people rekindle their stuff with that BDSM culture. Just the conversation alone is completely different.
Well,
Completely
different. You say that is a different frequency on vulnerability, being able
very much so.
That
I think you chopping up, JC. I don't know if it's me.
You chopping up real bad, JC.
But I can hear you.
I'm back good. But
Okay,
I'm saying, when it comes down to that whole thing of vulnerability, and it can build a connection between women and men on that. I don't care if you are married to them or if you're not married to them, but if that's the partner that you with, sex is a conduit, man, where it really can open up a whole different level of security in not only men but in women also. Because you got to remember too, there are women that it takes a minute for them to actually get vulnerable with sex, depending on what their past is about. Because a lot of women, they can have sex where they don't like it because it was just a bad experience and they don't really want to have sex like that anymore. Then you have other women taken from them. You have other women that it was just trash goddamn sex. You know what I'm saying? That's the experience and the connection. We definitely have to explore it. It's kind of like, I heard Mr. Bennett he was one of them that was saying that him and Easy, they both were saying that they don't really believe in the thing about pair bonding and things like that. What I would say is that there's something to it, but when you hear other people speak on it, it's kind of like people speaking on damn being a Capricorn or a damn Aries. You know what I'm saying? They don't know what the hell they saying. They don't know what the hell they talking about. But I think it is something to the whole pair bond thing and stuff like that. You just have to hear it from someone that can present it a lot better than what you've been hearing.
Yeah, the other thing too is you got to make sure like your woman that you dealing with is not getting, she's not losing interest in you because she's picking up another chick's kink.
Yeah,
because she's envious of what she heard another girl say. Oh, that sound good. That don't have nothing to do with you and your husband. Nothing to do with you and your baby daddy. Like that'd be a lot of it. Go ahead, BMU. Yeah, go ahead.
No. I'm saying, and a lot of times, what you have to do is to stay away from people stay away from other couples or people who are freakier than your wife. Let me tell you, or your girl or whatever. Because what happens is that causes resentment as well. Let me give you an example. One time I was in a little group of people and at this little marriage conference thing, they had couples and the girls start talking about sex. And this is what she said, guys. She said, I love having sex with my husband. She said I love having orgasms. I said, well, look at this. This okay. Where's this going? She said, sometimes I don't need my husband to insert into my body for me to have an orgasm. Neither do I need him to do oral sex on me. She says, sometimes I can come and bust a nut just by giving him head.
Yeah, that's the thing.
She said, and we'll come at the same time. She said, I'm flowing. She said she's swallowing and he's flowing. And she's flowing at the same time. So, and all the other women around the room was all the men was like this. Oh, right. And the wives are looking like you mother, like they looking at her like, girl, why are you saying that? Like, no, why are you?
And so her left the room quickly.
Right. And and so
I'd have got her number.
Basically saying ignorance is bliss. I mean, I agree. I think you need to, limit some of your conversation, but that whole idea of exploration, me personally, I don't have, getting ideas. Now, again, if you want to bring that into your, to experiment, like Sir Hale said, we need to play with a few things and try some things out or whatever. Hey, let's try. I mean, for me, the more important thing is, are both of you engaged enough or intimate enough to want to try just different things? And nobody's just born with just, things don't just come into your head. We all, like I said, all of us, I don't think we had an original sex idea. I think we all got it from somewhere good, from a good place or a place we shouldn't have been getting it from. We're mostly going to get these ideas from other places. So I don't necessarily mind the fact that she shared, but as far as you and your wife being on the same page, is that something where you can, again, have a conversation, again, getting back to the intimacy thing, to the point where neither your wife or yourself going to be like this, like, oh, don't even, come to that. I think as a husband and wife, I think you need to have those open channels where, again, you should be able to talk about and communicate anything. Now you can say no, or you can try to say, look, I wasn't feeling that. And you can go back and say, okay, fine. But at least the fact that you were open to the experience, I don't see necessarily anything wrong with that. I mean, let me say this. A lot of men go through this. A lot of men, and I'm glad I'm in these marriage classes because I learn a lot in these couples retreat things or whatever. A lot of men are going through this, and this is what they say publicly. When I married my wife, she could suck Kansas through California. Now, she's got after years of her having the Oscar, she's won several Oscars from the movie. And now she's gotten around a group of women who said holistically that this is nasty and you shouldn't do these things. And now she's taking on that and she's saying, you know what, Mr. Bennett, you know what, Benny Ben, I don't know what your wife called Benny Ben, I don't want to suck pee no more. So what do you do? This is for all the men on the panel. What should husbands do? I guess I'll go first. What do husbands do when their wife changes their sexual desires for their sexual things that their husband like? So I'll go first. I think that men should sit down and have the conversation first. Baby girl, I understand how you feel, but you have to understand that I have feelings too.
And baby, you've gotten me used to it. You've been sucking real good for about 5 years. 5 years in this marriage. I don't think you should stop sucking now. So do we need to go get you some medicine? Do you need NyQuil or something to get dizzy before you do? It doesn't matter. I need it. So do you need NyQuil? Do you need? We're not gonna get you Dayquil
I'll
because
put her to sleep though.
I was just need
some albuterol.
It's all over shit. I don't know, but you got to figure it out. You got to figure it out because this is something that you got me used to, and it feels wonderful. Sir Hale, we'll start with you, and we'll go around the room. Sir Hale, what are your thoughts?
First of all, black man, you are off the chain, and this is why I love you, my brother. You're off the chain. So,
I just have NyQuil.
So here's the thing, though. So if a woman just stops cold turkey, it is because, especially if she's a person of faith, so many women were taught that doing that was sinful and it was nasty.
Right.
So if a woman is if she's tied to like a religious belief and that does that, it's enough to stop her because she intrinsically thinks it's something wrong, but she thinks it's something wrong because it's been attached to women who ain't did it right. Right. So
there we go. That's it.
Yeah.
Brought it back in.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I've been listening to Drake. But what I'm saying is, like, so it's important. It's important to make sure that we identify that belief system and that we challenge that. That when you get married to somebody, like, no, like what we do between us, so it's important that
not defiled.
So what you do in the context of your marriage, that's between y'all, and it's beautiful and it's wonderful and it's amazing. And that no outside person, and not even your own previous guilt about what you may have done outside of the confines of a marriage, should infringe upon that. Now, I'll tell women like this: you be feeling like it's nasty when you do it, but you ain't got no problem when it's being done to you. You need to stop it, lady. Don't you be no hypocrite. Don't you be? And don't say, "Well, I didn't ask you to. You didn't stop me neither." So if you can receive it, then you need to be a giver as well. And I think that we got to approach it that way.
Better to give than to receive.
Yeah, and you know what? And then you be like, the Lord don't want me to suck it, but then you be saying, "Oh, Jesus, that feel good when he doing it." Listen, you can't misuse Jesus.
Oh no. Oh, we're not doing that.
You can't misuse Jesus.
You're gonna turn me into a munch now. I'm good.
Yeah. You know what? White School Podcast in the chat. Thank you for being here tonight, sweetheart. She said, "Give her some healthy competition. Tell her she would like you to get somewhere else."
Yes,
now what you're talking about now is inviting the camera crews to your house to film the next season of the first 48. See, because most women are not going to I can't go to my wife and say, "Baby, you can retire your jaws because I got Amber walking in here tonight, and we already know Amber is going to pull my soul out." So that ain't gonna work with my wife. Sir Hale, would that work with yours?
I get shot.
Yeah, exactly. If we want to live and not die. So yeah, we won't be able to do that. Inviting people in, but a lot of men are bold and will say that.
But you're not supposed to take something off the table without bringing it. So when you say I'm not going to do that, you should bring in your atheist homegirl to replace you. I don't understand why I got to do all the work. That's a problem for me.
Somebody put something in here about Tamar Braxton. Oh, hot wings lover. She says, and I quote, "These are the women, guys. I'm just pulling their comments up right now." She says, "I remember Tamar Braxton saying white girls suck sausage and white girls don't do that. That's when I knew that a divorce was in her future." Mm-hmm.
Shout out to
because those white girls don't care.
Look,
Hi, baby.
growing up and talking about back in the day, that was something that if you're a Gen Xer or whatever, a lot of black women, that's the reaction that you would get. That was a white. If you want that, go to the white girls. And unfortunately, a lot of brothers did. So that
haven't been seen again since.
That's
but again, that's what I'm saying earlier. All this stuff that we're talking about, it's taught. It's like we don't come to this thing, and we're certainly not prepared as children. We're not properly prepared for these things. Everything is just given to us, and we're just going off to what people tell us rather than coming into it with an open mind to say, okay, look, because I think sexual knowledge is part of your self-knowledge, and we don't take the time.
I agree.
We don't take the time to have it in that holistic context. Yeah, there's gonna be some things you don't like. Take it off the table. It's like not for me. And then there's some things you come into it with all these phobias and stuff, and it's like, hey, that was better than I thought it was. And it becomes your favorite thing. And then some things, don't need to be said. So, but we don't come to this with this idea of it's a journey. It's not an event.
I have a sidebar question for you, Mr. Bennett.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Let's take this journey. And because she said white girls suck sausage, black girls don't. If they made giving head an Olympic feat, an Olympic game, who would win the most gold medals? Would it be the African American women? Would it be the Asian women? Would it be the white women? Would it be the Vietnamese? Who do you think who's going to win? This is a barbershop question right here.
All I know is historically, any sport or competition you've allowed black people to enter in.
Amen.
If you give us the tools and the equipment, we dominate. If you invested in black hockey right now, if you put the money and the resources to have an African American hockey team, and you put in that program for years, we dominate hockey. You couldn't get us out of it. Now we got ones and twos, but we
invented
hockey.
it, you know.
So you said
curling. If you gave us the resources to do it, so I'll just land my plane there. But you let us in, and then you can't get us out.
I'm gonna have to say, I'm gonna have to be in the
hold on, world class, because Mr. Bennett gonna have to tell me something. Mr. Bennett, these white girls, listen to me now. These white girls have PhDs in messing with the D. Now, I know a few black girls that their jaws are like elastic. They're like Stretch Armstrong. However, those black girls lead. They'll come in and they'll get you ready. You know how we always talk about getting a woman ready all day? White girls are the reverse. This is what they do. Hey, baby, how was your day today? Oh, my God, I cooked ravioli. I'm so ready to suck your dick tonight.
Shit.
Right? That's what they do. But most black men have to ask for it. Baby, tonight, do you want, we have to get nicknames. Baby, tonight, do you want to, little Willie wants,
Black man, it's learned.
That's hilarious.
Again, it's like back in the day when you had segregated baseball, when you had they kept us out. They said a black man couldn't play golf. Tiger Woods came in. So again, it's all about access, opportunity, and the belief that you can achieve anything that you want if you get in the right environment and the right coaching and everything. You can be the best at whatever you want to be at. It's about training and breaking a mindset. That's all that is.
Clap it up.
That's all that is.
Head is not a race sport anymore. It's about women and hoes.
There we go.
Hoes will win hands down.
But no, put your hand, but put both hands on it. This is what I'm gonna say. In my life, I've met some true semen demons, and it's the things. It's the lips. It's the lips. It's just the lips that the sisters got. Is when they come off. It's something like.
But hold on, but does swallowing matter?
Absolutely. Oh my God, it's a big difference.
I've never
What do you call the idea?
There's some semen demons out there.
So world class.
Run by devil.
Now. My life. Write that down. That's a new word in the lexicon right there.
I'm gonna play this because we finna get deep, guys. We about to go somewhere.
Hold on here. Is this the barbershop? Is this the barbershop?
Yes, the shop.
It's the barbershop.
Yes.
I mean, we can't talk straight in the barbershop. Then where can we talk straight? We can't talk straight nowhere else. This ain't nothing but healthy conversation. That's all.
You gotta tell who the pop down.
It ain't nobody exempt in the barbershop. You know that. Ain't nobody exempt. You can talk about whoever and whatever, whenever you want to in the barbershop.
That's why she was on that bus, because she couldn't suck dick. I just want to get that part out. Go ahead.
So my question is this, Almighty Smiter. So you said, "Oh my God, yes." When you said she's swallowing, okay. But my question is, after she swallows, she wants to tongue kiss you. Are you? Sean, what you say?
Here's the thing: I've thought of this a lot of times, and I've done it. I have. I've done it in my life. I have. I ain't gonna act like I'm not gonna sit up here in front.
Tell your truth, Doc. Tell your truth.
So, I'm not a liar, and I've done it in my past. I don't regret it, because
Did you do the?
No, they swallow really good. They know how to swallow it all, and they will drink, and they will. I'm good now. I'm good. I'll just just an extra swallow to make sure it happens. So yeah. I ain't gonna
but listen. And I think head is more powerful than sex. Let me tell you why. If you're driving down the road and she reaches over and she grabs you and your soul starts to leave your body, and some men, I've been there. I hope nobody's watched. Oh, wife, is she watching? No, I think she's asleep. I've been there a long time ago. Long time ago, where I didn't even like the girl. Didn't want to be around her. Nothing. I just wanted what I wanted at the time. I need to be beat for that. Lord, don't take it out on me tonight. But anyway, I just wanted it, and she did it so well. Right at the precipice of getting what I needed out of that situation. It was so good. I said, "Oh my God, I love you." And I looked back up and seen myself in the mirror, and I saw my soul coming back down on my body. She said, "You do?" I said, "Oh, I done fucked up." So, I've been there before, where the head is so good that it's very persuasive. It'll put you in a different spirit realm. You'll go in praising Jesus and come out with Buddha on your chest. It's just some women just can do that for you. You're trying to figure out how they're so great at what they do. PhD. So guys, what do you think about that? Do you think that head can be that persuasive, or am I just an ass?
Absolutely. One girl pulled my ancestors out.
You just an ass.
They was just laying around. They was just standing around the bed, and I was like, "Damn, what's up, Pop?" And it's just, we know how they got that talented.
Okay, can you repeat that start over? Let the people know. You said that you did what now?
One girl sucked one of my she sucked my ancestors out. It was like they was like standing around the bed, and I was just looking as I was going to sleep, because I can't last so long after that. You know what I'm saying? Like you literally.
So you was like grandmama, great grandmama.
I was like Pop. It was grandparents I never seen before. It was like, I know y'all. Damn. Y'all had to die 500 years ago.
From 1876, boy. What are you talking about?
Is that Frederick Douglass?
They had 2 articles of clothing in the Shield, so I knew. You know what I'm saying? So
Hank, this is one of your people right here, Hank. Come on, get your people, Hank.
Mandrell. So when you were in that situation, when you threw your legs back and allowed her to.
Like he was getting his diaper changed. He was.
He put his hands behind his knees.
That's just nasty, man. Mandrell, that's nasty. You should be ashamed of yourself.
Oh man! Oh my God! Oh, Mr. Bennett, I'm sorry, Mr. Bennett. Mr. Bennett, oh. Oh, let me get back. I can't breathe. I can't breathe. Oh my God. Oh.
Can we have some health big video? They come down, take a turn video, please.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
I need to go to communion now. Man.
I think I gotta shake back.
I need to go to communion for real.
All right, so Mandrell.
Jesus Christ.
I'm right behind you, Paul.
Oh my God.
So Mandrell, that night you were in one foggy night in Alabama when you were had a lady over, and she came over and gave you magnificent dome, and she pulled your legs back over your head. How was that experience? I mean, because everybody talking about the experience except Mandrell. So Mandrell, how was, huh?
I'm telling Andrew, I'm laughing with him. I'm not laughing at him because he's a killer. So don't push him.
Oh my God. So Mandrell, so tell us about your experience.
Well, I've never been in a situation where I put my legs above my head and nothing like that. I mean, that's
you repeating it. Don't make it no fucking.
That's about as gay as it comes. I ain't nah.
So what you doing, the bicycle then? Like the bicycle?
Nah, none of that nonsense. Anyway,
oh shit.
It's just what are you asking? I don't understand the question.
So your experiences, your sexual experiences, when have you ever been in a situation where you felt your soul leave your body?
From head?
Yes.
No.
Damn, you have one, man. That's horrible. So hold on. Let me take a poll here. Not pause. Anybody on the panel has ever had a sexual experience that just blew your mind to the point where you were just fucked up?
I've had about 40, 45 of them. Yeah.
It was to the point that I broke up with her. I was like, "No, okay, you too goddamn good." Oh hell no! I'm not fucking with you.
Yes.
I'm not fucking with you.
Definitely.
Easy money.
Absolutely.
Easy money. Have you ever been in a situation where your soul sat beside you and say, "This is the one"?
Pat you on your lap like, yo, yeah, take this.
I don't even know how to answer. I'll just say yes. I'll just say yes. I'm sure it's happened.
Black David, Black David? One season when you were hunting lions and you took your girlfriend with you and y'all stopped by the pear tree to get water from the root. Have she ever put you in a situation where she moved your soul? Did she move your soul?
Let me correct this. If I was hunting lion, it would be her soul to be moved, not mine.
Trey said I pay her rent.
Pear tree.
I don't know about
pear tree, nigga.
Don't start right now, black man. I don't lose souls. I take souls. Song. Get that.
So you've never had a woman blow your mind sexually? CB?
Yes, but not from that.
But African men like it?
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. Yeah, I've had good sexual experiences. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, you're talking about like something that's gonna make you do like. I mean,
when she get done, you thinking about looking at tuxedos?
Yeah, I've had that. Yeah, but if you're talking about making me lose my mind, no.
Oh, you haven't had a whore then? No, it's
Hey, you haven't had it?
I never have.
That's fun. That's a good thing. That's not a bad thing.
Yeah, it's not a bad thing.
I had a woman.
I told you had to leave her ass. I was like, you
I mean, like I said, no, I've had, like I said, I've had really good sexual experience. Don't get me wrong. Now, yes, really good sexual experience, but it's something that's gonna make me just go jump out a window or some crazy shit like that.
All right. This is a good test for the fellas. Have you ever had a woman?
What's wrong with y'all?
Have you ever had a woman give you head, go all the way down, which is fucking wild, and then tell you, I don't even know how that happens, tells you to choke her while she's doing
it? Wait, while she's doing it?
Yeah, y'all know whores that. It's cool. Y'all virgin.
That's super asphyxiation. That's
so you're asking the women who you know what? I've been there once and I felt like she was gonna die. And I was like, this shit crazy because what did she do? It was kinky as hell because
read that autopsy report.
Man, I'm telling you, bro, it is an experience when a woman tell you, choke the shit out of me while I'm doing this.
I love that shit. I can't listen. That's what I'm.
But what happens when you choke her and then you be like, damn, girl, that was good, and she not moving?
But she wants you to choke her so she can pass out, and then you can slap her. They want to be. Listen, they want to be.
Hell no.
They want all that.
I mean, my hand. I can play dominoes with FEMA trailers. My hands are huge. I'm not going to choke nobody. I can't.
I was very afraid too because I had an anger problem back in the day. And I thought I was snapped. But after like the 13th girl, I was like,
what I said.
This nigga say he can play dominoes with FEMA trailers. I'm picturing this shit with his big.
You know what, man? I love having fun.
I could see why Toya left the room quickly. He's like, oh hell no, I'm not getting done with my wife today.
Listen, I'm gonna tell y'all something. I'm so glad that we can have a serious conversation. Get over here and laugh, but listen, I can't get the fact that I can get somebody to chest it. They can visualize Mandrell with his head.
This ain't get his diaper changed.
You had the same face for like 20 minutes.
And you know, Mandrell so straightforward. I can hear Mandrell now. Hurry the shit up. Hurry it up. Finish. Finish. Suck it. Are you fucking crazy right now? This is bullshit. Get done. I'm not gonna have my legs behind my head all night. Oh my God.
You gotta be shitting me. You gotta be shitting me.
This is fucking stupid. You know what he gonna say? I'm sick of the same sucking points. Every time I'm coming, it's the same sucking points.
Hurry the fuck up.
and
I can't breathe. I'm about to die.
Trey, you're not going to listen to the Trey.
Oh my God.
That sounds nothing like that, by the
Hey, y'all are crazy laughing, bro. Y'all are crazy.
You're not going to listen to
I don't talk anywhere like that. Anything like that at all.
Right now, you need to suck the tenets of a man right now. I'm sick of you. Suck it. Suck it now. If I take my hat off, it's gonna be some shit.
Mandrell not smiling is what makes it even funnier. It makes it funny because he's not smiling.
That's so crazy.
Oh my God, Mandrell, I swear to God, bro. If that woman put your legs behind your head, boy, that shit is crazy, boy. That's some funny shit. Hurry up, son of a bitch. Get it.
Don't interrupt me.
Don't interrupt me.
We should have never put that girl up here, that guy girl up here, ever.
Oh my God.
That's what started all that.
Mr. Bennett is crying, y'all. Mr. Bennett has tears in his eyes. Wait, goddammit. it. Hold on a second.
Hey, black man, then she asked him, how was it? He'd be like, it was fine.
Trey, you cannot look at it while you're working out, Trey. You're going to die here.
You know it's all right, man, Joe, because Mr. Bennett laughing, so you should get over it.
Oh my God. Man, Dre, that
Black David, I had to slow it all the way down. I was about to fall off this damn thing.
I got tears in my eyes, bro.
Oh my God.
I'm fucking
Oh my God.
One now.
Now, if you don't have no sucking solutions, I'm gonna drop you. If you don't have no sucking solutions,
don't hit the damn.
Get out of my house right now.
Get out right now. Get out right now.
Y'all know what this Thursday show gonna be about.
Bullet.
Oh, my head hurts like right here.
Oh my God. Dr. Lil Kimbe say he starts out with some, you know, the problem, the thing is.
The thing is, you're not sucking it right. That's it. The thing is.
And listen.
Hold on a second. Let me finish. Hold on. Let me finish before you finish. Hold on. Oh my God. Oh my God, boy, y'all got my arm over here about to die. Oh my God. Oh Lord, have mercy.
It hurts for real, yo. Right here. I got this thing running around.
Y'all make sure y'all hit the like button, share, and subscribe.
Please hit the like button and subscribe. Man, hey, my boy almost fell out over there. Oh, Trey, you okay? Oh,
Mr. Bennett glasses fogged up.
And that one to the
No,
Trey.
I'm not black, man. I'm not a.
You're not supposed to listen to it while you're working out, Trey. What are you doing, Trey?
Bruh,
I hear Mandrell now. I hear Mandrell now. Get up and turn. Listen, you didn't suck it right. I had my legs up for an hour. It doesn't feel comfortable. My legs are numb. Get up right now and turn around. I'm going to hit it. Where's that damn step stool?
What you got to do is practice stoicism.
Oh, but Mandrell, you don't like the way I suck it. I'm trying to get you to learn critical thinking here. Okay, critical thinking will get you.
If you just fucking think.
So you know what your problem is.
What's the solution to the sucking? What is the solution to the sucking? If you can't give me a solution to the sucking, I'm gonna drop you.
If I find out so Helping is watching in the shadow and he's laughing at it, he's wrong for this.
Oh my God!
Now calm down.
Here and you step out.
Oh, Quincy said,
sucking with sauce is hilarious.
Sucking with sauce.
Turn your goddamn camera back on.
I didn't come up here for this.
Mr. Bennett, is Mr. Bennett okay, y'all? Let's do a self check on Mr. Bennett.
I damn sure didn't, Noble. I didn't come up here for this.
Hey, I can hear Mandrell right now. After he get that nut, Mandrell gonna say, "Suck it, suck it." Oh, Lord, I'm weak. Oh shit. Oh my God.
Sean, you gonna come up here laughing too?
Oh my God.
Oh Lord.
Oh my God.
Sean.
Look at that. Look at Sean. Y'all even got Sean. JT, this is your fault, by the way.
That's a fact.
I feel I missed the big thing.
This is your work. JT, this is your work.
Don't blame it all on me.
Yeah, you
got
started
something to do with you too.
You started it, man. You and Black Man Unfiltered. Yes, you did.
The funny part.
Then here's Noble gaslighting.
You said I was gaslighting me?
Yeah, Noble gaslighting. And then Trey come up here.
Oh, thank you.
Just throwing a little bit more in the fire. Look, you can't escape it, boy. I can't escape it.
What if you was at the top of a bump and your legs were swinging while she was giving you some head?
How tall is she if I'm at the top of a bunk bed?
She about 6'1".
Oh, nothing wrong with that.
God. She's 6'1". You
nothing wrong with that. Hey, that sounds actually kind of fun.
With your feet in there?
In there? What you talking about?
So, Mandrell, okay, let me ask you a question. Let's break it down.
Do you count your toes?
If you met a woman that was 6'1" and you 4'11", right, and you land in the bed.
I'm not 4'11".
I'm sorry. If you was finna get head from this woman, and as soon as you got head, you laid back, and the start of it was real good, and she got real good, like better and better with it, and she grabbed the back of both of your knees and pushed you straight up in the air.
Hey, man,
you okay with
out,
that,
man.
or you gonna stop
watch
her?
out, man. Watch out. Nah, come on. You
gonna let her keep going?
No, I'm not comfortable with that.
Okay.
So is it more comfortable laying on your stomach?
You see this?
Look, man, hold up. Give me a minute.
With his thumb in his mouth.
Don't bring anything on. Don't bring anything on.
He about to make a call, get a GPS for where everybody at. We're gonna get a sequence to the strike
Don't
team.
bring anything on. Don't go brandishing anything.
No, I didn't say anything, man, bro. I'm not part of it. I'm in New York, okay?
Mandrell, you okay? Oh my God. Oh my God. Anyway, back to you, Black David. So you didn't answer my question. So if you were in Africa and you were hunting lions,
yes,
and slapping deer, and she wanted to give you some head by the peach tree, right next to the water hole. Are you going to lay there and allow it?
Now we're trying to favor and take her soul instead.
Or is she going to push your legs back?
What was that?
I got strong legs.
I mean, saying, why your boy brought that up? That ain't a half bad idea. You know what I'm saying?
No, come on, no.
Don't take too.
No, why you?
Now that's funny.
Oh yeah,
yeah, that's funny.
And here's the thing, Black man. No,
hold on, I'm gonna bring something. I'm gonna bring something out of retirement real quick.
Oh Lord, here we go.
That's hilarious.
So I want to now, Mandrell.
Here's the thing. Why don't you use that one anymore?
It was in the archives. I
just think it's actually like that one. I think that's why you don't do it no more. The one that was crazy is the short little white dude, the little midget going down the clothesline.
Yeah. Now Mandrell.
That was a crazy one. That was funny.
Now Mandrell was in a relationship with Crooked Elbow Sheila, right? And Crooked Elbow Sheila.
Oh no, God, bro.
She got taken by a dude. I mean, Mandrell caught her with a paraplegic. I'll just let y'all see it. Here it is. That was Cricket on Sheila and
Heavenly Father.
All of us. Everybody.
Yeah, so I just, but Mandrell, man, we talked about Mandrell's situation. You guys went overboard. I'm so ashamed of you guys right now. And I want to talk. We talked about Black David. He still ain't answered the question yet.
And I told you,
and he's not going to. Black David, you'll talk. Hold on, Black David, you'll talk for 2 fucking hours. And all I asked you was what you had for lunch today, and you never mentioned food, not one time in the 2 hours that you would talk.
I know you ain't talking right
You'll
now.
do it, Black David. You will do that.
No, that's facts. That's facts, man, bro. That's facts.
You too. Thank you, Trey. All I'm saying.
And you know I'm not diabetic, so don't even play yourself, Black man.
You're not diabetic.
Not diabetic.
Oh, shit, wait a minute. Okay,
I know
that's
you ain't
right,
talking.
Mandrell. Fight back. Fight back, Mandrell.
So what,
Hey, that's what Trey. Trey, you want to see it again, Trey? Trey, you want to see it again, Trey?
No, don't see.
I don't.
Number one. That's
you, Black man. That's you, Black man. That's you.
Hey, girl, come on.
Black man, number one. My hand is not registered. My wife is not Trinidadian. I work at sea for 20 years. I come from a polygamous background. My hand is not registered. All the time in Nigeria.
What?
My hand Monroe.
Why is his arm so little?
And his legs too. Don't forget those.
Oh my
He's
God.
shaped like that guy is literally shaped like his body is shaped like an egg.
And he got,
Dude, I swear to God.
It really is. Like, I mean,
why is his titty so sharp?
It's
a lot going on.
Look, man, I don't.
My kids' friends sound shaped like a gorilla. So what's the difference?
You shape like
That
a.
ain't
You
me.
look like
Hey,
I mean,
Black
you know what?
David?
I'm not even
Black
gonna go with Black
David?
David, but don't mention gorillas.
Black David, the wife, the wife school podcast said, Black David, what happened at the peach tree?
At the peachy, when I was getting mine,
Huh?
The peach tree, not peachy.
First of all, there's no peach in Africa. I'm just going along with you.
I know. Oh, we know. There's a lot of things not in Africa because
Second of all, what happened is I decided
not much
to
can
return-
live there. Just saying.
What happened is I decided to return the favor and I took her soul instead. It took me an hour to get her back up again.
You gave her head?
A soul. You took a soul. You gave her head too, Black David.
I took her soul. They put it like that.
Oh, so this is going back to that little dance you went to on the island.
No, it's not
So
that
what's
they're
it-
talking about.
He ate her groceries.
Oh, okay.
You
So
eat
you ate
ass?
ass and everything.
Black David, you eat ass?
No, I don't eat that Hanks.
Oh, Hank, yeah.
That is Hank. Now Hank will tell you.
Hold on, Black David. Black David, how you do that? You just don't throw that man under the bus like that?
No. It's okay. Hank is light skinned. We can throw him under the bus.
Yeah, Trey. Hank will cam up and tell you he does it.
He said
He has no problem, and
Here you
he'll
go.
tell you about
Here you
how
go.
he likes to go to the store and get whipped
Here you
cream
go.
and sprinkles and do
My
it
wife-
with that.
my wife
Hey,
makes
I-
that.
you know,
Hank
shout out
has
to me.
no shame about it.
Hey, Mandrell, he said it makes his beard get thicker.
That's what he says. Yeah, he says it makes his beard thicker, man.
I don't go that route. I
He
go
has
the other route.
no problems admitting to the fact that he eats
All I
eggs.
can say, I
That's
do
it.
what I can do to make women jump through the window. Period. But not what Hank does.
Man, what do you
But
do, Black David?
He
Among-
don't eat,
Yeah,
he
what
said
do
he
you
don't
do?
eat random ass though. It don't be no
I
random.
don't eat
It's just women.
period. I eat the other stuff.
What
What
other
other
stuff?
The
Boogie?
peas.
The what?
You eat pea?
I eat the pea. I'm not putting the whole word out. I eat the pea.
Oh, I thought you meant urine. I was about
Oh,
to
yeah,
say.
you right.
Oh,
I thought you were about to say, no, I drink pee. I was like,
I
damn.
take the soul.
Why is it thick?
I can hear Black David. I can hear Black David now. Now you can pee in my mouth, but
No,
it
that's not
only
what
has
it
to
is.
be the first one, not the second one.
In my mouth.
He said
my
my mouth though.
My mouth.
yeah, with the T and with the
Black
mouth.
man, that was you.
Eat my mouth.
No, Black
He
man, you
said-
told me that old lady trained you that way, so don't start like him right now.
No, that
Well,
old lady
hold
trained
on.
you
First
that
of
way.
all, if we want to talk about the old lady, she did. She put me through class. However, Black David, so you was eating ass on the back of an elephant.
No,
Shit.
Number one.
African don't eat ass.
How both of y'all get up there?
African don't eat ass.
Trey, what the
Number 2.
On the back of a what?
And number 2, we take souls.
Okay.
The reason why my homeboy did tell me stop trying to overdo other dudes.
But see, man, hey, but you know what, Black David? A lot of you Nigerian men get those reactions from those women jumping out the window because they fear you. They don't want to tell y'all the truth. And basically, like when you finish, you be like, "Was that good?" And she's going to turn around and say, "No, it wasn't good. I beat the shit out of you. You about to change your mind."
No, that's not the case.
You better change around right now. You better change around. No, like David. David.
I will take the closest thing and larger duo.
Change your man right now.
Wow.
Change your man right now.
Short up.
No. I work at T for.
Hey, hold on. Let me interview Black David. Are you ready, Black David?
My wife is Trinidadian.
Hey, Black David, are you ready? I want to interview you right quick, Black David. Can I interview you, Black David?
My end is not registered
right now.
What are you trying to ask?
So, Black David, I'm gonna call you Black David Mandrell. Black David Mandrell.
Don't give me mixed up with that shit, man. He's from Africa. I'm nothing like that.
Black David, how is it eating ass in Africa?
It gotta be musty. It gotta be musty, right?
Gotta be hot.
You say musty ass.
Y'all can't clean very well. I mean, it's just y'all don't have the utensils.
Ass smell like left out fruit cocktail.
Africa.
No, not even that. That just smells too good for that, man.
Think about this. Africa.
That continent stinks by default.
Hot. We don't have light skin.
So imagine what ass cracks smell like.
She said Africa is always hot. They don't have light skinned people.
No, they don't. They don't at all. We can't survive there, no, but not for too long.
We light skinned people eat ass. So I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and the entire
that is true.
The entire continent stinks by default. So imagine what ass smells like.
When Black David see y'all, he gonna shoot all y'all with a blowgun.
Sure is.
Hey, Mandrell. What, Black David?
And after that, you see Mandrell on the stick rotated. I'm like, okay, Mandrell. I got some people.
Cannibalism. I told you they're savages. He just said he's gonna cannibalize me. That's messed up, Blake David.
Damn, you gonna eat Mandrell?
No, we're gonna let the lady do that for him.
Well,
not only do we eat the pussy, but we eat it.
And this time you get evidence.
We're going to fuck you and eat your brother.
No.
What?
No.
That's what Black David said. I'm going to fuck the shit out of you and eat your brother.
No, you don't do that. We don't do that.
Wait, come on. I need come on.
Do you hear what you're saying right now, brother?
Y'all are hilarious.
I need Kevin.
Do you hear what you're saying right now, brother?
What's going on?
I heard what you said. I'm just trying to find out what you were saying.
Right. I mean,
I can hear Black David now. Hey, we are hungry. You and your brother can suffice. Are you going to?
Gentlemen, my battery is dying, but it was great being on with all y'all. And y'all have
yeah, that's what you get. That's what you get for buying Apple products.
We are dark.
Nah, I just don't have my charger with me.
We don't ask.
Now, Black David.
Only like
Black David.
I
want you to do something for me, Black David. I want you to show us how it happened. Here we go.
It don't happen the way you think it's happening.
One foggy morning, Black David was hunting lions and lions and lions. He met a little girl by the pool where the alligators swim in Africa, the crocodiles.
How old was the girl?
The girl is 18 years old, and she's waiting for Black David. Black David went over her and to her and said, "Girl, bend over and let me show you what I work with." Black David took off of his clothes, and the girl said, "What am I supposed to do with these sheets?" Black David said, "You'll know in a minute. Or I hit you with this blow dart, bitch. Do not play with me." Black David proceeded to take her soul with his mouth.
You're missing some
Kissed
part.
her on the lips, and he ended down south. This is the story of Black David.
Let me explain you to something. We African don't talk about the wood. We talk about the honey pot. You know what that means? That the reason why we Africans will take your soul. All we do is go after the honey pot. That's all. When you get after the honey pot, we take your soul. It's like in America, like ass.
It's the war cry for me. I can't. It's too much.
Oh, you need the war cry? Hold on. Here you go.
You guys know, we Africans, anything about it, the honey pot.
You know what?
We deport all the light skinned brother out of Africa.
Oh shit! My chest hurting.
You know that Africa is always hot. This is why we always dark here.
Everybody in the chat. Everybody in the chat, do your war cry. Everybody in the chat, do your war cry.
Now make a song out of it. Is this the music from Coming to America? Oh my fucking God, yo.
And this would happen
we're
watching
going
to American movies.
We're going to Nigeria, hell. That's what we're doing.
Oh shit.
We're all the scammers.
Oh shit.
And you wonder why the scam likely left? Because he knew he would get in trouble for this.
Oh my God. Oh shit.
Remember, we met from the African brother, all he wanted the honey pot. You know what I mean?
Oh my God.
Here we go now.
We get blocked. We get blocked. We definitely get blocked.
Hey dog, people in the chat right now say they cannot breathe. They're laughing their asses off, bro. Hey, listen, man, y'all do me a favor, hit the like button, hit subscribe button.
Ladies and gentlemen,
hit the share button. Y'all share these videos. Let everybody know what we're doing over here on Fridays. We have serious conversation, but we have a roast section as well.
It's the Nigerian racist channel right now.
Oh my God.
If we with all the shits.
Number one.
Blow dot for black men on Twitter.
Hey, Quincy said we ain't never getting invited to the motherland now. Damn.
Kwanzaa is canceled.
Don't worry about. Oh no, don't worry about it. You're not missing anything.
Hey, Clement Gray said, "BMU sound like he's speaking in tongues."
You're not missing anything.
The Black Panther.
Don't go to Africa.
Nigga said T said the Black Panther. No, we got Black David and the Black Panda. Yo, what's going on with the tail in the chat? Wow.
He wanted to wait
Don't worry.
Yo.
We have to put you and take all your ladies. That's all.
Oh my God. Can y'all imagine Black David running through the woods with baby all on in a skirt run after a lion?
I know you ain't talking.
The Russell.
World class. Wait a minute.
Maybe you're gonna grab the lion and start whispering at him.
Why you laughing, man,
What would be if you watching WWE? What would Black David's wrestling name be?
He used to wrestle. His name was Kamala. You remember that man? You remember Kamala,
Black
right?
David, did you just say fuck you? Black David said fuck you.
What a Kamala for your lights can be high.
Black David said fuck you, man.
You wouldn't know like it wouldn't come out like
How did he say it? I mean, I didn't hear it.
You said fuck you.
Oh, I thought you said when he said when he did that.
You've been laughing for 40 straight
Hey,
minutes.
people in the chat.
My face hurt.
People in the chat. What would be Black David's wrestling name? People in the chat, give us a wrestling name.
Sure they did what you put
King
there.
Congo was
This in King Congo. Oh my God. Oh shit.
The gray edges.
Shit.
What?
Damn.
It's gray edges.
I know you ain't talking though, but you shave yours to hide yours. So don't play
Hey guys, if y'all want to see a cash out for this comedy, send one here. Here he is right here. We put it out. Somebody just told me to do that shit. Here he is right there.
Congo.
Send a cash out for the comedy.
You can't remember Kamala.
You catch him at the bottom. You ain't gotta send no fucking super chance.
Wasn't he originally from damn Cleveland?
I don't know.
His real name was Earl.
I don't know.
Damn, they say your wrestling name should be Uganda.
Uganda.
Damn.
Now, JT, I don't know if you heard it, but Black Man said, could you imagine Black David with his shirt off, with baby oil on, and wearing a skirt running through the jungle, running towards a lion. And then Noble said to wrestle. I said, what
Yo, what's all these things on video? Like, look at what
you're gonna have all the lions baby hair on them.
Oh shit!
You be licking the lion, whispering for me.
Hey, the White School Podcast says Silverback.
And I got this on my team.
Oh, the Nigerian slingshot.
Yo,
the chat going in. The chat going in.
Wow. Next week.
Oh my God.
JT, your turn. JT, your turn next week.
Oh my God. I don't know what was funnier, the legs behind the head or this damn jokes about these motherfucking Nigerians.
Oh, no, the legs behind the head. That shit was on the level.
Oh.
This is bad.
If you're listening, I found out you're watching and you're laughing, I'm coming to get you, Sohel.
Oh my God. Hey,
watching it
world class.
in the shadow.
Man, I ain't never heard you laugh that hard, bro. Yo ass was
I was trying to breathe.
No, this is even worse right now.
Oh shit!
I just imagine Vandrew count his toes.
Mr. Bennett just sent me a message and say, "Man, my head is pounding, bro." He said his head is killing him right now. Oh shit! The Nigerian honey badger.
Oh hell! If I find out you're watching this broadcast, and you're laughing in the shadows, so hell, I'm coming for you. So hell.
When he come behind, when he come from behind the stage. When he
the real life Winnie the Pooh. That's what.
What the hell?
Oh shit! When he come from behind the stage at the wrestling event, everybody gonna go the whole crowd.
The tree jumping koala.
You're one for that.
The tree jumping koala.
She said the Jollof Jester. What the fuck?
Oh my God, bro!
Life school. You got to say this.
What happened?
You got it from. What is them again?
Listen, I'm gonna be on your. I'm gonna be on your side.
From Chicago Villa. That's what the joke you be putting.
Black David. I mean, your tribe. So Black David, the Yoba tribe.
Yeah.
What happened to all your piercings? I mean, how'd you get that fixed?
Oh, the what?
Is that the ones with the plates in their mouth?
Yeah, the bones and the sticks and shit that they have.
I'm sorry.
Going through their face and whatnot, and then with all that, they have the nerve to paint their face. Like, I don't understand. So what? Okay, so what's with the face paint? What's that about?
I'm sorry. That is South Africa, not West Africa.
It's all Africa, and it all stinks. What's the difference?
We from the West. We don't do face paint.
Y'all look the same.
Shit.
Really? So all white people look the same? Like eat ass then?
Yes.
No, but all Africans do.
All white people are the same. All white people are the same.
Everybody, I'm picking at Black David.
I'm
not actually a racist.
We black,
unless you're African.
No more.
That's exactly what racist is. Unless you're African.
They don't count, Noble. They're African.
That's true, but here's the thing: you can't say that out loud.
He's the problem.
I stick by it. I call you a handkerchief head Negro. I call him a handkerchief head Negro. And I'm sticking with it. Google it. I view you as a handkerchief head Negro. I don't know how you view yourself.
He said that.
Let's make it clear, you guys. We African dark people like the honey pot. This is what we take soul. But the light thing, but chase after the ass because they're not good at the honey pot. That is why.
Damn.
Really?
That was a shot towards Mandrell.
So you mean tell me your legs on the ground and Mandrell legs behind his head?
Shit.
Pretty much.
Getting his diaper changed.
Russian. I can hear Mandrell now. Do the shit you did last time. What are you talking about, baby? The tilt. What a tilt.
Dude,
y'all got Mandrell stress eating. Comforting now.
Pivot, damn it. Pivot.
I can hear Black David now. Lick my ass.
Ask anyone who did it, an African man
now
who had to jump through
lick
the window.
my ass.
No, you think I'm lying. Ask any woman who did it, an African man, and ask them what made them jump through the window. They would tell you we are chaser of the honey pot.
But you do eat the ass too.
No, we don't. That's light skin brothers. That's where they got deported.
Oh,
Damn, they reported for ass eating? Shit. Over there.
damn, what you get deported for? Ass eating.
Breath.
I couldn't stop eating ass, so I had to get deported. That shit crazy.
Damn, that's crazy.
That's some wild shit right there.
Hey, let me smell your breath. Oh, you go now.
You got to sit in the back if you get deported because you eat ass.
Hey, now, listen, man. Hold on. Because all those healing herbs and stuff. Like when y'all eating ass, Black David, do y'all ever like when y'all eating ass? Do y'all ever like the herb seeds come out on your tongue?
Y'all got mint over there? To like
we
even it out?
chase, you understand? We chase after honeypot.
So you let her lick your ass?
No. Black African men chase after honeypot. There's a reason why women jump through windows.
Okay. You know how you give
what
head.
that means.
Y'all give head real good. That's what you're saying.
We do way more. They're trying to take the soul and then some. So this is why they run away from us.
So she sit on your face?
No, we don't sit. We
right after she hanging clothes outside, huh?
We just look them up. We don't do no sit.
Oh, you lift them up? Okay.
This is why they jump through windows.
Somebody in the chat said, Mandrill, eating pussy is like watching a kid drink out of water fountain. Damn, man, this is right. This is wow. Mandrill, you got anything you want to say?
No.
What?
I'm sorry. Like I said, you're gonna take my word for it. Anyone who did it, an African dude.
Oh my god. Oh shit.
Tell you that.
Oh shit.
Man,
what they call a savage in the bedroom for a reason.
No, you just savages, period.
Why?
You just savages, period. So I mean, it's just kind of a wash there, man.
Okay.
Oh man.
All right, man.
Running through the jungle with baby oil on your chest, with a skirt on, looking for a lion to wrestle.
Hold on. But explain to me why a lot of professional black women travel to Africa to get their groove on. For what purpose?
Oh, because they know better. They rent in Africa. You don't buy that.
No, they know that you got on eat the honey pot.
I mean, unless it's a rock of some sort, a mineral of some sort, you don't buy anything from Africa. It's not reliable.
You sure about that? Okay.
Yeah.
So, Mandrill, all the pussy you bought was what?
It wasn't African.
Oh, okay.
It's back in Miami.
Mandrill over there putting pussy on layaway and shit. All right, y'all. So listen, thank you guys for being here tonight, man. I appreciate it. I've laughed so hard.
Miami.
I've laughed so hard. Mr. Bennett has damn near stroked out. He had to get off. Everybody had a really, really good laugh tonight, man. If you missed it, guys, please go back and watch it. If you want to give to the channel, it's at the bottom of the screen. Please share, like, and subscribe so you can get more great content like you've heard tonight. And I appreciate it. If you have not hit the subscribe button, please do. And also turn your notifications on so you know when we go live. All right. And we look forward to seeing you guys next week.
It's the best nickname for me. I will take it.
The best nickname for you?
Yeah. I'm undefeated.
We call you. Maybe we'll call you.
No, you're not. Look at you. You're already beaten.
No.
Damn.
Look at you. Like David, we had this conversation before. You're an African. You don't
call him. No. We could call him.
No, you ain't.
We call him ECS, man. ECS is your new nickname. ECS.
Yeah. What's ECS?
What is that?
Earl Campbell sausage.
Go. Fire by night and a pillar of vapor by day. Walk through the desert, but when you admire the light, see the villains are paper mache. I'm on the way to the promised land, no contraband. I'm an honest man, I'm coming. Have y'all met me? I'm set free, playing my part like the Red Sea. Man, I'm from heaven, I'm here with my brethren. The volume's 11, now we're getting rowdy. Swing from the scaffolding, spiritual happenings, miracles are all around me. This ain't no balcony, I'm in the front.